play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers, Josh and Luca here to bring you the Deathwatch Codex Supplement First Impressions. So, to start this off, I'm going to be very clear. I may have neglected Deathwatch a little bit since the start of 9th edition.
Well, something changed with them. Was it something that changed, or you were just waiting
So
for
what
something?
it was is, I didn't get the chance to play them a whole lot. I played them once. We know what happened.
I was going to say, this art is amazing.
The art's fantastic. The get by rules, which is what I'm going to call them for Deathwatch, I didn't feel particularly inspired to play them.
Oh, the index stuff? The same things I got?
The same,
Yeah.
the stuff that you printed off, the stuff that came out a little while ago. Didn't feel particularly inspired to play them based off that, because I wasn't really sure what was happening, where they were going with it, so I said, I'm just not going to worry about it. So this is entirely a first impression video. I would have loved to have played a game with this book beforehand, before doing this one, but hey, time constraints, unfortunately, wasn't going to work, so we figured, let's go through the book and at least give you folks some of the information here so you can start to get some hype, get excited, and...
Right, and there will be Deathwatch games to come.
Oh, definitely.
Throughout the week, yeah, like the next few 40k games, both Josh and I play are going to be Space Wolves or Deathwatch. Not necessarily facing each other, but, I mean, maybe.
Who knows? I'm going to try to avoid that. I don't like the Imperium versus Imperium.
I like to try to avoid Imperium versus Imperium as much as, and especially Deathwatch. You want to play Xenos against Deathwatch.
Definitely.
Because that's just correct. So it'll probably most likely be Necrons versus Deathwatch. And if you haven't checked out the Space Wolf First Impressions and you're interested in that, well, we've recorded that and that's either up already or up soon. So stay tuned for that or go check it out if it's already up. One of those two, I don't know. But there's a lot to cover in here. They got a lot of stuff. In fact, a little bit more so because I guess for me, I've already done the Space Wolf index review, so...
Right, so we're going to do our best to kind of go through this. Obviously, we're going to be touching on some things, discussing some things that were already probably well-known information for folks. But if this all went to plan, we've got it timestamped nicely below, so you can just skip.
Yeah. If we're dragging on about something you don't have any interest in, then just go to the next section.
Go to the section that is relevant to what you want. So, let's just jump right into this. I am going to be leaning heavily on Luca, because he knows Space Marines, and Deathwatch is pretty much... They're a lot closer to Space Marines than I feel they've been in the past.
Oh, as of right now. This supplement, got you.
All right, so we're going to start off with the detachment abilities. Because I think that is the first of the bunch, if I did this right.
Yeah,
which I did. Okay.
These are essentially the things you get if you are a Deathwatch detachment.
So the way this works for mission tactics... You don't use the rules for Codex Space Marines to determine which combat doctrine is active for your army during each battle round. Instead, at the start of each battle round, select Devastator, Tactical, or Assault Doctrine. The combat doctrine you select is active for your army until the end of that battle round. Note, however, that when selecting a combat doctrine at the start of the battle, you can't do Devastator more than once, you can't do Tactical more than twice, you can't do Assault more than 3 times.
So you still are limited to the amount of time the Space Marines are in those certain doctrines, but you as Deathwatch get to dictate which turn those certain ones are active. You probably won't do Assault on turn 1, but you could.
If you want, I think the cool thing is that in that situation, if you wanted to, you could, sure.
100%. You probably will start with Devastator in turn 1, but you don't have to, right? Maybe your opponent deploys out of line of sight for your Devastator doctrine, and you're like, you know what? Tactical this turn. I can do 3 turns of Tactical or whatever. Is it 3 turns of Tactical?
2 turns tactical.
2 turns of Tactical. Sorry, I can do 2 turns of Tactical. Oh, you probably want to stay in Tactical. I'd actually probably burn an Assault Doctrine.
Say right away.
Yeah.
It's the point is that we could probably talk for 20 minutes on this.
Yeah.
The fact is that you get to pick.
Yeah.
So cool, your opponent null deploys turn 1, you're not going to be able to get him. Cool,
Doctrine.
I'm in Assault Doctrine and I'm just going to move around.
Yep. And then you have to come. You literally have to come out at some point.
Yep.
Right. And then Devastator or Tactical, whatever is more devastating.
Right, because if I want to, you don't have the ability to say, oh, you got all those big scary guns and I want to hide from that slightly better AP a little bit longer. I don't want to get hit. Well, guess what? I can do it turn 2.
100%. Yeah, if they're going to burn if they want to null the first 2 turns, well, you have 2 Assault Doctrines to burn for that.
Sure.
I love it. I think that is a really cool take on them. Now, Mission Tactics, was that the one where you used to pick a Force Org before and reroll wound rolls against it?
Okay, so I believe if you go into the Space Marine book...
I have it right underneath this. Yes, you're right.
That's where they have the whole pick one.
Okay, so that's their chapter tactic then kind of thing.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct. That was correct and right altogether, apparently.
Yeah, each time a model of this tactic makes a melee... Oh, you get to reroll hit rolls against Xenos.
In melee only, though,
In
right?
melee
and it's
only.
only reroll ones?
It's only reroll ones against Xenos.
Yeah.
And then after both sides have finished deploying their army, select one battlefield roll until the end of the battle each time a model with this tactic. Okay, so you do get that as well.
Yeah,
you
so
get
mission
both.
tactic is replacing the combat doctrine roll.
Right. I guess what I'm asking is, was it called mission tactics before? Do you remember what it was called before?
No idea.
8th edition? Because this is called Xenos Hunters, and that is definitely not what it was called before. I want to say it was mission tactics before. But it doesn't matter. They get both those rules just for being a Deathwatch detachment.
I love it.
Which is
think
great.
it's super cool. I dig it. Let's continue on. Stratagems.
Oh, stratagems.
So this is where I got really kind of interested. Some of these won't make a whole ton of sense until later on when we talk about stuff like how you actually build your kill teams. But yeah, let's get the stratagems out of the way. We're going to start off with Death to the Alien. I love it. 1 command point. This is pretty simple though. I think that this actually used to be the one where you reroll hit rolls, or like you got extra hits on a 6. It was one of those kind of things
That you
that I never
typically
really
used.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this one, use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Deathwatch unit from your army is selected to fight until the end of the phase. While that unit is within engagement range of any Tyranids, Eldari, Orc, Necrons, or Tau Empire units, add 1 to the attack characteristic of models in that unit.
That's pretty good. That on top of Shock Assault, which they got before, right? They had Shock Assault.
Yeah, they
before.
shock assault, and we're all veterans pretty much.
Oh, that's 4 attacks each, eh?
That's many attacks before factoring in like a chainsword or something, right?
5 attacks with a chainsword. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right there.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, it's a Stardy's chainsword now too.
That's what you get for being Xeno scum, I guess.
Yep, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. That's I could get behind that tag. You know what? I probably use that a lot. The next one is prognosticating volley. That's a word. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Deathwatch unit from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against an Eldari unit, you can ignore any or all hit roll and ballistic skill modifiers, but not the weapon skill ones, eh?
Well, it's only in the shooting phase.
You're right. That's why. That makes the
that's why,
most amount of sense. Okay, so this is your Eldar hate stratagem.
Yep. We don't like those penalties to hit.
Right, and before it was useless because if what I recall from what Josh told me, it was if something was within 12 inches of
It was
you
that weird,
had
like
fly,
if it had fly and it got within 12 inches, you could do the, basically almost like the Auspex game where you could shoot at it with -1.
Eldar would never get within 12 inches
Yeah,
of
you
you.
just, okay, cool, I'm not going to put my fly stuff close to you.
Yeah, and so it was like a nothing stratagem. I mean, it made them not do that, I guess.
You got a little bit of board control, but I didn't find often it made too big of a difference in games. But then again, I hardly ever played against Eldar, so there's that. It's kind of cool. Well, like even the fact that it's just Eldari units. So correct me if I'm wrong, Luca, but that also should allow you to ignore like terrain, dense terrain in the way, any of that kind of
100%.
stuff.
Yeah, whenever you ignore any or all hit rolls. Yep, so you ignore dense. You're essentially ignoring cover. No, you're not ignoring cover. You're only ignoring modifiers to hit rolls, but you do ignore dense, 100%.
So
I think, yeah, so this is before when you select the Deathwatch army to shoot. Yeah. So I would like to see this kind of work a little bit more effectively. It's still good, I like it, but if it forced them to use their stratagem first, like the what's it called? Not fire and fade, but lightning reflexes, I think, where it's, I'm -1 to hit. Okay, prognosticating volley. But you do have to declare the volley first, which is fine. That's still really good.
Yep. So next up we have Synaptic Severance. 1 command point. This is the anti-Tyranid one. Used in the shooting phase or the fight phase. When a Deathwatch unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack against a Tyranid Synapse unit, an unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wounds the target. I think that the way that this one used to work is Tyranids with Synapse, you basically could ignore the Lookout Sir against them.
Right, so they couldn't hide Broodlords,
You couldn't hide
Neurothropes, stuff like that. This is just differently good.
Yeah.
It's a complete rework. It's just the old one doesn't exist. This one does instead. A part of me wants to say I like the old one better, but the old one might not have never mattered. This one could matter more, right? It's tough to call.
I think it's kind of more in line with other stuff. I'm happy enough with this.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. I'm like, this could work well. It's an okay one. The next one is Adaptive Tactics. It's 2 command points. You use it in your command phase if a Watchmaster unit from your army is on the battlefield. You change the battlefield role selected for the purpose of the Xenos Hunter chapter tactic for your army. You can only ever use it once. So you pick troops or whatever at the beginning of the game. You reroll wound rolls of 1 against all troops, and then you kill all the troops. Like, okay, well now 2 command points. I get to reroll all wound rolls against elites.
It's cool. We're going to see later in the book where I think this doesn't matter that much, but it is kind of nice to do.
I think this is something you could have done before.
Yeah, I think honestly it was... I think this used to be like a Warlord trait or something like that. It's not one that I came into a whole
yeah,
lot, but
I kind of vaguely remember that as well.
But yeah, pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be super relevant, but it's handy to have.
I like it. Yeah, it's that you have to have a Watchmaster, but I mean, a Watchmaster is a great thing to bring. Right.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have a Watchmaster anyways, but there's other ways around this whole reroll business. Oh, well, it's when we get into making kill teams.
Yeah, I want to look. I'm trying to see what kind of keywords a Watchmaster has. Oh, he doesn't have anything fancy. All right. He's kind of like a chapter. I was seeing if he follows in the company command restrictions as too. Like, can I bring like 3 captains? I mean, no, you can't bring 3 captains. They still follow the same restrictions that Space Marines do.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm going to have to kind of brush up on and see all that kind of stuff. And we'll see, because I always used to bring multiple captains. That was my go-to.
Right. You can bring 1 captain now.
We'll see if that's 100% true for the Deathwatch, but I assume it is.
We'll
check the. Oh yeah, because we just used the.
Use the Space Marine book. Yeah.
We don't have our own special little captain in here. Okay, next up, Atonement through Honor, 1 command point. This is for Black Shields. So use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select 1 Deathwatch unit from your army that contains a Black Shield. The unit can perform a heroic intervention in this phase as if it were a character unit. Cool.
Okay.
Black Shields are definitely worth bringing with their new rules.
So this kind of falls in line with a couple of the other ones we're going to see, where this is an ability they had before, right? But it was built into the stratagem?
This was built into them before, yeah. So this is the classic. They got rid of an ability that was built in.
Now it's a stratagem.
Right. Now the only difference is that I believe previously you had to heroically intervene. You didn't have the option.
Oh, well, obviously this one you have the option to. You don't have to spend a command point, right? Yeah.
Right. Oh, but I mean, technically the way you would do it before is that you would heroically intervene a millimeter and not actually engage.
Oh, it's true.
It's one of those weird.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they did it with this. That's just kind of.
Well, they had the idea of the rule. They're like, okay, they have to heroically intervene, and then everyone's like, well, I don't have to. So they wrote a nothing rule essentially.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
If memory serves correct, it's been a long while. That's pre-COVID.
That is, yeah, pre-COVID. Now we have a couple requisition stratagems. These are the ways you typically upgrade your characters and whatnot for 1 command points. This is a Sanction of the Black Vault. Use this stratagem before the battle when you are mustering your army. If your warlord has the Deathwatch keyword, and in pretty much every case they will, select 1 Deathwatch model in your army that has the word Sergeant in their profile. That model can have one of the following relics of the Watch Fortress, even though they're not a character. They can have Artificer Armor, Master-Crafted Weapon, Digital Weapons, Bane Bolts of Erixia, Artificer Bolt Cache.
I think Cache.
Is it Cache? I can never remember how to pronounce that word.
I think they're both technically correct.
I think they're both right, but and then each relic in your army must be unique, and you can only use this stratagem once, and no model can have 2 relics. So this is like the other supplementers. Like you want a cool sergeant? Well, spend a command point, and you can have a cool sergeant.
That works.
100%.
I like it. Next up, we got a Vigil Unmatched, very similar to what we've seen with Space Wolves.
Yeah.
After nominating Deathwatch character model that is not named to be the Warlord, you generate 1 additional Warlord trait for them from the Deathwatch Warlord Traits table. Each Warlord trait in your army must be unique. You can only use the stratagem once.
Right.
Honestly, with some of the Deathwatch Warlord traits, yeah, that's kind of worth it.
So we just did the Space Wolf review, and this is identical to Warrior of Legend.
Right.
Which is like your character gets 2 Warlord traits, and they're awesome. Of course, I'm going to do that. I would almost do that every time. I don't know about you, but
I probably will. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see
every single time, especially when you see what I can do with Warlord traits later on in the
100%. Yeah. Like it's unfortunately kind of goes against the grain for what I want to see stratagems being. Like that's just almost too good to pass up for 1 command point. Getting the abilities of these really good Warlord traits. Absolutely. We have Stem the Green Tide. This is a strategic ploy one against orcs. 2 command points. Use this stratagem in the charge phase after an enemy orc unit has declared a charge against 1 or more Deathwatch units from your army. 2 bullets here. The Deathwatch units that were selected as the target of that charge can fire Overwatch at the orc unit. So this is good because it's a different way to Overwatch. So you could only Overwatch with 1 unit per charge phase.
Because it was a stratagem to you can only use the stratagem.
100%. So that's the case there. But now this will let you Overwatch twice if you wanted to. But this one also makes it so all units that are targeted by the charge get to Overwatch. I don't have the Space Marine or the rulebook in front of me right now. I do not believe that's the case for the Overwatch stratagem. For the Overwatch stratagem, you select one of the units being charged. Yeah, but this again only works against orcs. And then the second point is until the end of that phase, if any models from that orc unit are destroyed as a result of any Overwatch or of the Overwatch, you subtract 2 from their charge roll made for that unit.
So this works different than it used to. It used
Yeah.
to be you when you overwatched against an orc unit because you were free to overwatch.
Yeah, you would always.
And you would reduce their charge roll by the amount of models you killed.
Yeah, there's no cap on that. So if you have frag cannons with the automatically hitting profile, you'd probably kill like 10 of the orcs.
That's changed a bit. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the war gear there. It's not quite the same.
So, yeah, cool. For 2 command points, maybe. Depends what's charging me, but maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not super in love. Now, this one, kind of interesting, if it's the one I think it is. Next up is Priority Doctrine Adoption, 1 command point. Use this stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Deathwatch unit from your army, then select 1 Combat Doctrine. Until the start of your next command phase, that unit gains the benefit of the Combat Doctrine you selected instead of the active Combat Doctrine. You can only use this stratagem if every unit from your army has the Deathwatch keyword, excluding agents, the Imperium, and unaligned units.
Right, so it kind of falling in line with your combat. Like, you can only use combat doctrines with those same restrictions, so they're just like doubling up on that.
But yeah, to just go like, hey, this unit, we're going to be in this doctrine right now.
Yeah, so I guess you have like a Proteus veteran squad with a bunch of cool close combat weapon veterans, like Assault Doctrine.
Yep,
Charge.
yeah, they're going to be in Assault right now, but I want the rest of my army to be in Tactical.
Still.
Sure.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's great. That's it's kind of weird because I'm pretty sure I thought the core Space Marine book had a stratagem just like that. So I don't know.
If it does, cool. If it doesn't, don't care.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's good regardless. The next one is targeting scramblers for 1 command point. Use the stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. After a Tau Empire unit has resolved their shooting attacks against a Deathwatch unit from your army, you just go ahead and remove all those marker lights. I think that's the exact same as it was before, or maybe it was like a random amount.
The wording may have been a little bit different before, but basically it's essentially the same as before.
Yeah, it's just like the other ones for the Deathwatch, like for the Xenos ones, they either didn't work or they were too good, so they reworked them. Yeah. Like for the Orcs, it was a little too good, so they nerfed that a little bit. The other one was useless. Not useless, but they just made it usable. And then I guess the Tyranid one was too good. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know why they changed it.
I don't know why they changed the Tyranid one. I got thinking about something else. I'm checking something.
All right, well, I'll talk about the next one.
Back. Keep going. Next one, go.
Next one is the Necron one, which is Overkill, which is identical to the old one. Use it in your shooting phase or the fight phase. After making attacks with a Deathwatch unit from your army against a Necron unit, your opponent must subtract 1 from reanimation protocol rolls made for that Necron unit as a result of those attacks. So, you light up the Necron unit a little bit with some, small arms fire here and there. You kill a model there, kill a model there. You get it down to a reasonable kill range. Or at a point where you're going to do a bunch of damage, maybe not kill them, because if you kill them, they don't get reanimate in general. Right. You spend a command point here, and you're like, I killed 10 models. Overkill. You only get them back on 6s. Yikes. And Necrons don't have any modifiers, really, for the reanimation protocols. So
pretty cool. Happy with that. Now, I think the way it used to work before is that you would put it on one of your own units and like a Necron unit close to them when they went to reanimate.
Oh, is that how it works?
I think that's how it used to work. I can't. Again, it's been a while.
Okay, that's fair.
But pretty cool. This next one, I think it's really cool. I like it. 2 command points, Brotherhood of Veterans. So use this stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Deathwatch unit from your army, then select 1 Chapter Tactic or Successor Tactic from Codex Space Marines. Until the end of the turn, models in that unit that have the Chapter Tactic or Successor Tactic instead of Xenos Hunters.
Yep. That's kind of cool. I forgot about that one. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I assume there's a lot of big brain plays here to do with that, but like, cool.
Well, it is 2 command points, though.
But I mean, like, your Dreadnought. He's like, I remember one time I fought with an Iron Hand, or maybe I myself am an Iron Hand. Right. I'm only going to count half the damage per bracket, I think, is their thing.
For 2 command points, you could up yourself a level. Pretty much it ups yourself 1 level of bracket. Yep. When you do something like that for that. Or you could have your unit be Space Wolves, or you could make them heroically intervene for 2 command points. When you think about it that way, yeah.
I could have a unit fall back and shoot as if they were Ultramarines.
For -1, yep.
There's
+1 a wound for Blood Angels, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the whole point of the reason why I like it is that there's just so many options, which means it's going to take me forever to play it properly and like pick the best things.
Yes, this one's got a steep curve to it, but I think this one you're going to use almost all the time. There's always going to be a situation to use this stratagem.
Other than you don't have the command points.
You don't have the command points.
But otherwise, 100%. Yeah, there's always some cool stuff you can do.
Yep, these guys are going to be Iron Hands for this turn. These guys are going to be Ultramarines for this. That's so Cool. I like that. That's a super fun stratagem. That is something a lot of people are going to have fun
Because
with.
what's you got it right in front of you. What's the White Scar one again? I remember looking at the White Scar one going like, ugh.
It's like advance. Oh, I flipped right to it. They can advance and charge. So no, they can advance and fall back, and they do not suffer the penalty incurred to their hit rolls for firing assault weapons in the turn they advanced. So you can advance and fire assault weapons at no negative, or you can fall back and charge.
Like I'm thinking there's a ton of different ways you can use that.
There's a lot of chapter tag.
Hilarious.
There's just simply a lot of chapter tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 options you can pick from.
Well, one of them's the Deathwatch one.
Oh, sorry, 12 options you can pick from. 100% one of them.
You can also pick to not do it and keep that Deathwatch one.
You could spend 2 command points to not do anything. Or, let's talk about the Grim Resolve one. If you don't move, you get +1 to hit. That's crazy.
Right? I mean, the amount of options that you have with this is what makes it so interesting.
Crimson
and
Fist,
fun
no
to-
matter the odds. Black Templar, Righteous Zeal. The Raven Guard, Shadow Masters, yeah. Forged in Battle. Oh, you can do so many options.
I think that's super neat. I like what they've done with it. I approve thus far.
That is a super fun stratagem. I'm actually jealous. I love stuff like that. Well, moving on to the next one, we have Disruptive Launch. It's 1 command point. Use it in your movement phase when a Deathwatch jump unit, Indomitor kill team unit that contains an Inceptor, or Proteus kill team unit that contains a Vanguard veteran with jump pack from your army falls back. It is eligible to shoot even though it fell back this turn. So that's an example of an ability they used to be able to do as default, but now you have to spend a command point to be able to do it.
Yeah, and that, totally okay.
I was a little concerned because they did show off the index stuff. That I'm like, oh, they don't have the ability to fall back.
Yeah, it's like it felt like they took away a lot, and that's where I was like, I'm not going to play it until
100%, yeah.
Right.
I'm very happy with it. I'm happy they gained all that stuff back. And then here's one of Josh's favorites.
Probably my all-time favorite Deathwatch one, Teleportarium. Use this stratagem during deployment. Select one Deathwatch Infantry, Deathwatch Dreadnought, or Deathwatch Biker unit from your army. All models in that unit gain the Teleport Strike ability from Codex Space Marines. You can use this stratagem once, unless you're playing Strike Force. Then you can use it twice. Onslaught, you can use it 3 times.
Right. It's
1 command point.
It just gives them the Teleport Strike ability, which is the ability that lets them show up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from enemy units. No restrictions other than that, right? It's just sometimes it's a little bit harder to get on these smaller tables, but that's still something you were able to utilize very well last edition, so you might as well.
It's nice to have the option to do so with different units and stuff like that.
I think technically a nerf because you can only use it so many times, but you only really ever used it once or twice, maybe.
I can't remember how much it cost before, but I think you were limited in what you can do.
Oh, maybe was it like a 1/3 thing?
It was a one. I think it was
okay.
I think it was, but I honestly can't remember. So that not a noticeable difference. Like I don't think anybody's gonna get too fussed over that.
Okay, so we're talking about the priority doctrine adoption, and I was trying to look it up while we were going through this. There is a core one you could do. So what this means is you could do this and that one and have 2 different units and 2 different doctrines. Yes.
Gotcha.
But this is also cheaper. This is only 1 command point. This one's 2 command points to do it.
Okay.
Actually, this one has to be No, it has to just be your Warlord. So the core Space Marine one lets you pick a core unit to go into a different doctrine that you're already locked in, as long as your Warlord's alive. This one lets any Deathwatch unit. This one's only core, so those are the main differences there for anyone who's
cheaper, more
curious.
flexible.
Cheaper, more flexible. That's cool.
But also doing both if you want.
And then you could do both if you want to spend 3 command points. We have used the Teleportarians for Relentless Assault. This is the biker one, so Deathwatch bikers or a kill team that contains a veteran biker or outrider biker from your army falls back. They can charge even though they fell back for 1 command point, so that is back as well. You guys got to keep your fall back and shoot with jump, fall back and charge with bikes. So there's a reason to bring them, mix them.
It's huge.
Yeah, I could see that. I could very, very well see that, very much see that.
So I'm currently gruntled with all of that. We're going to move on to the first War Gear stratagem. That's Shroud Field. 2 command points. Use this stratagem at the start of the first battle round. Select 1 Corvus Black Star unit from your army. Until the end of the battle round, that unit cannot be selected as a target for ranged attacks unless it's the closest eligible target to the firing unit.
So if you want, no longer will your Corvus Black Stars be shot out of the, if you don't get first turn, and your opponent has a respectable shooting army, it's like, okay, dead, you lose your veterans inside.
Right. Now it's only dead, can't target.
Yeah, exactly. If you bring 2, you can't. That's right, because you can only use it the one time in your command phase. Start of the first battle round, yeah. No, I wonder if you could do it for both of them, because it's at the beginning of this first battle round. Interesting, because it's not in any phase, technically.
Oh,
And at the Yeah. It's technically not in a phase.
Yeah, and it
doesn't say you could do it only once.
Yeah, actually, I think you might be right on that one.
So like if you do have 2 Corvus Black Stars, now, albeit that is 4 command points to do, but...
See, we don't bring you just for your good looks and your pink hair.
Sometimes I notice something. Shroudfield there is quite used. That was probably a major downside to the Corvus Black Stars. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. But
well, I think the major downfall was that they were kind of awful.
Yes.
They were bad.
I do remember a couple times playing Necrons against a couple guests who had come in to play Deathwatch, and they ran up Corvus Black Star R2, and I'm like, oh, yikes. So, like, I have a Doomsday arc.
Well, even way back in the day, they only hit on 4s when they moved.
Yeah, there's that too. But
the weapons that mattered.
I remember them being loaded up with like 10 veterans in each of them, and I'm like, okay, Doomsday arc fires that one, bam, cracks it in one hit, and then he lost like 2 veterans, and they were stuck way back in his deployment zone. And he's like, I think they're just useless for the rest of the game now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you just kind of tap out.
Right, and that was super bad. Now, Shroudfield is a good way around that. We got Clavis for 1 command point. It's a War Gear stratagem. It's a strange archaeotech device that can disrupt the deviant machine spirits of Xenos war engines. Ooh, oh, wait, you know what? I'm actually familiar with this. Use this stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 enemy vehicle within 1 inch. It has to be a Watchmaster.
Because he's actually modeled, that little thing on his arm right there.
That's the Clavis?
That's the Clavis.
The Clavis, all right. Then that unit will suffer D3 mortal wounds, which is what I did before. But now it is not eligible to fight until all other units that from your army that have done so.
Yep.
That's kind of wild.
So some big...
Same thing, no counter
War Walker kind of thing, just...
Yep.
Nope.
It could be dang. That could even be like a dreadnought.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I didn't want to say dreadnought because like that's Imperium stuff. It's gonna be dreadnoughts with what people play.
It'll be
but like, it could be an Orc dreadnought.
It could be a Death Dread. Sure, that would work. Or heck, even Steve likes to run that big truck. What is that thing called? The
Bone Breaker. Bone Breaker.
I think it's a Bone Breaker. Yeah, you could just be like, all right, D3 mortal wounds, you fight last. Get him, boys.
Yeah. Please somebody kill him. Please somebody kill him.
Please somebody hurt him. Even though he's like toughness 8 and like 2 up save, but
I mean, you get a couple mortal wounds into him.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so this next one is probably the saddest of the bunch because of what it implies everywhere else in this book.
Okay, well let's see. I'm not familiar with this
special issue loadout, 2 command points.
Okay.
Use this strategy in your shooting phase when you select a Deathwatch infantry unit from your army to shoot. Until the end of the phase, bolt weapons, excluding bolt sniper rifles, without the special issue ammunition ability that models in the unit are equipped with, gain the special issue ammunition ability, and their type characteristic is changed to Heavy 1.
Okay, I was like, okay, no, this is good. I see where they're going with this one. This kind of fixes some issues people might have. Never mind.
So change it to Heavy 1. Now, you're going to say, Josh, think of all those weapons that have the special issue ammunition. We're gonna touch on those in a So special. Unless I'm missing something, because you're going to be here to help me try to catch mistakes, but I'm pretty sure.
So we're going to go ahead and say stratagems, like 5 out of 7, we'll give it 2.5 thumbs up for sure. Like, awesome. These are great.
I like them. They're cool.
These are
fun.
really good.
There's none where it's like, that's super busted. This is awful. Why would you allow this?
100%.
Overall, very happy with the stratagems, except for that last one because of what it implies elsewhere in the book.
Exactly, and that's where a little bit of the disgruntled might come in. Not disgruntled fully.
Oh, it's going to be disgruntled. I was too lazy to change things about my army, and it's worked out for me.
Yeah, 100%. You got a couple of those models, right? But you didn't go full ham.
By a couple, I mean I got like 3 or 4, and I had 3 or 4 on the table to get done.
Okay, you didn't do that.
We're probably going to hear in the comment section, the people that have their full 10-man squads of Stormbolters, but we'll get there later.
Yeah, that's later, because next is Kill Team Specialism and how you build them, because they're kind of weird, and there's like an entire page about it. Yikes.
Okay, so Kill Team Specialisms is a new thing.
These are very new.
So a couple things to kind of just touch base on, because there's some references in here to if you get a Crusade army. We're not going to touch base on those right now.
Right.
Kill Team Cassius, which we'll talk about in a minute. Basically, Kill Team Cassius kind of ignores some of the rules. It automatically becomes an Aquila specialism.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop you from having another Aquila specialism. But other than that, you're not allowed to have two of the same kind of kill team.
And there's 6 different
Kill
team
team specialism.
Yes.
Because there's different kinds of kill teams.
And it's an upgrade to the unit on power or points based on whatever you're doing.
Right. So out of all the different ones here, the two, I'll point out the two that are worth more points when we get them.
Right. So the first one, and yeah, you do this when you build your list as part of mustering your force.
Yes.
Any kill team could be any of these from what it looks like, other than, oh yeah, there's a couple other things there. But anyways, Aquila is the first one. If you want to upgrade to Aquila, you choose 2 battlefield roles for the Xenos Hunter chapter tactic instead of the normal 1.
So, okay, so you select one additional battlefield roll
Right.
for them.
For them.
And they get to reroll against that. So
Right.
you pick your one, let's say you're going to pick troops for your entire army.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
You
that's
can pick
right,
an Aquila kill team and say, they're going to do heavy support too.
Exactly, yeah. So that's what I meant. I was being a little vague with that, but it's true,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, your whole army chooses troops. They can choose one additional one, and they get to reroll wound rolls of 1 against both.
It's 25 points to upgrade that to an Aquila kill team, whichever kill team you have. The rest of this, there's the Venator, Malleus, Dominatus, Führer, and Purgatus kill teams.
Purgatus, yeah, Purgatus.
So basically the way that all of these work is it's specific battlefield roles. So like the Dominatus, I'm never going to say it right, kill team, that's going to cost you an extra 25 points. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack against an enemy with the elite's battlefield roll, you reroll a wound roll of 1.
I know exactly what this is.
But
now.
if you
Okay.
selected the elite's battlefield roll as part of the chapter tactic, then this kill team will re-roll all wound rolls.
Okay, so I recall this now. So if the stratagems used to be 2 command points, and you would pick a unit, and if you were you would do that exact same thing.
I think you get +1 wound. I don't know if it was a reroll. I can't remember.
It was +1 wound. That's right. So it'd be if you had troops chosen as an example, you get to reroll 1s against them. But if you did the specialism stratagem that for 2 command points, and you're like, I want them to reroll 1s against troops, but troops are already selected, you actually get +1 wound troops in addition to rerolling 1s against them.
Right. So the different ones here, like I said, the Aquila lets you pick any, but there's not the second bullet point.
Right.
Pick any reroll 1s. The 2 that are worth 35 are the Malleus, which is heavy support, Lord of War, or dedicated transports.
That's why it's a little bit more pricey.
And then Führer is troops.
Yeah.
But basically, the way that these work is that they allow you to reroll 1s to wound against these things.
Yep.
But then they also, if you chose that as your chapter tactic thing to reroll against,
Yeah, reroll
then
everything.
Exactly.
So the Malleus one is the best one, I think, almost immediately off the top of my head, because those are the hardest things to get through.
So you build something to be a Malleus
100%.
kill team.
100%.
And that's your dedicated vehicle killer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on here, and there's a lot you
There
can
is.
do with it.
There is.
So we're going to get into how you build kill teams a little bit later on, because it's later on in the book.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that this stuff exists.
So yeah, you say you build. What would you like? You build a heavy weapon team that would have heavy weapons in it for an anti-vehicle. Then you get to reroll wound rolls of 1. If you upgrade the Malleus, you reroll wound rolls of 1, which is nice. But if you already have that one selected, then you get to reroll all wound rolls. 35 points. I think that's worth it. I'd imagine it's worth it.
You can get pretty pricey pretty quick, but for that one, like, these are my dedicated vehicle killers.
Right. Like, would you upgrade every kill team you build to a specialist one?
Probably not likely,
Right.
but I could see circumstances where I'd want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's especially, I think it's going to be one of those, like, I got 35 points left over. Boom. Easy.
And I guess I mean for the Malleus one to be specifically good is you want to get that rerolling all wound rolls, which means your chapter tactic, your Xenos one, would have to be already set to heavy support or Lords of War or dedicated transports. Because you really want, because typically you're going to be wounding on 5s in a lot of cases, right? So you're going to want that wounding on 5s, rerolling everything.
We might get access to some better guns later on, though. We'll talk about that.
That's true, yeah. You might be able to do better guns
Because
too.
we're going to... Okay. I can't remember the name of the kill team. I want you to think for a second the Eradicators.
Yeah. Yeah, they can get it's the Gravis armor kill team.
Right, and normally it's easy for me to get a kill team with 5 of those in there.
Yeah.
And they're OPSEC troops.
Yeah.
Like there's there's a lot you can do here, and it's going to take a while to get into this.
Right. Whereas like the special issue got hit, the kill teams themselves got real good.
So I think that's what I want to kind of try to focus on. Like the special issue ammunition got hit, but like specialisms kind of obviously doesn't make up for it. It's different, but it's different, so that's okay.
Different, like I said, change for the sake of change. I love it.
It kind of makes sense to me. I'm happy with the specialisms. That makes sense. It allows, because the whole thing with Deathwatch that I like is that they are Codex my guys.
Right.
I can give them almost any war gear I want and
Yeah.
have so many. You can get so individualized, and that allows you to even deeper into that.
100%.
So it's going to take a while to figure out exactly what you want to do, but like you can get so specific. It's super cool. I like it. Next up, we're going to talk about the Warlord traits, the 6 unique Deathwatch Warlord traits. But it's kind of, there's more than 6 Warlord traits here, and we're going to see in a second why.
Okay, well.
So we're going to start off with Vigilance Incarnate. In your command phase, you'll select one friendly Deathwatch core unit within 6 of this Warlord. Each time you do, select one battlefield roll until the end of your next command phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack against an enemy unit with that battlefield roll, you roll a wound roll of 1.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different ways to get reroll wound rolls of 1.
That's fair, yeah.
Because I think the other hilarious thing is I don't have the book in front of me. I'm pretty sure we can take lieutenants now, which I've been complaining about forever.
Oh, of course, yeah, 100%. The only things you can't take are actually very limited, like bikes, assault marines, or whatever.
Yeah, you can't take Vanguard vets. I don't think you're allowed to take bike squads. And
It's not limited at all. If you want to know exactly what it is, I've got it right here. You cannot take assault squads, attack bike squads, devastator squads, Stern Guard veteran squads, or tactical squads or scout units. You can take every HQ in the game. No, you can take every HQ. So, lieutenants there if you want to.
that's the right way to say it. So, okay, cool. It's honestly, I don't see many people using this Warlord trait because you probably have ways to get what you want anyways.
But to be fair, you can only take 2 of them. That's just the restriction for all Space Marines now.
To what?
Lieutenants.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm just saying that there's so many other ways for this army to reroll wound rolls of 1.
You're right. You might not even need it.
I don't think you're going to have a Warlord trait to be like, I got to make sure somebody stays within 6 so he can...
Oh, yeah,
no.
yeah. That's true. Okay,
No.
yeah. I get that.
I mean, it's not bad, but...
So, like, the fact, would you bring a lieutenant even though you have so much access to rerolling wound rolls of 1 all over the place
I would
already?
probably bring the lieutenant, depending on the list, if I wanted a cheaper HQ.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's still good to have because you're only really rerolling wound rolls of 1 against 1 Force Org, right? So you want to be able to, the other ones too.
Just having a handy dandy little character running around doing stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you have good loadout on them too. We got Paragon of their chapter. Select one Warlord trait from the chapter Warlord Traits in the Codex Space Marine book only for this Warlord. Replace all instances of that chapter's keyword on that Warlord trait with Deathwatch. If this Warlord has the heraldry of the Fists, Black Templars, or Flesh Terrors, one of their successor chapters, you must select the chapter.
If you have it with one of those chapters, like
Yeah.
if you got an Imperial Fist
Right.
pad,
You have to choose that
You
one.
gotta choose that one.
So this one's forcing you to choose which one you painted them with, which is narratively cool, and I would always do that. I would always do that anyways.
I probably would go that route. Then again, I don't see why you couldn't have your own random successor.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so your Watchmaster is a Space Wolf.
Yeah, because he just happens to have a Space Wolf pad on him.
So if you ever did take Paragon of their chapter, he'd have the Beast Slayer Warlord trait,
Yeah.
which only works for him. Anyways, so he gets +1 attack against vehicles and monsters and +1 to wound them.
But that being said, like you could have any shoulder pad you want on your guys, and you're fine. You could swap it out.
You
Or
could
like I said,
magnetize your
could-
shoulder pads if you wanted
if
to.
you wanted to. But I think the easiest way to do it is pick some random successor that you've made up yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what? They could be whatever you want. So that's where I said, like, turns out there's more than 6 Warlord traits here. That's why.
That's right, yeah. So you technically have every Warlord trait. That kind of goes in line with the chapter tactic thing too, so you get a Warlord trait that works exactly like that as well. Big fan of that. And then it can't be any Warlord trait found in any supplement. It has to be from the Space Marine Codex, which is fine. It makes it not ridiculous. You know?
It's not going to get crazy out of hand, so that's hopefully them doing a good job of being like, okay, we didn't realize all these weird interactions with this one supplement we put out with this obscure Deathwatch rule that, now this breaks because of this stratagem. And
Right.
No, this is good. This makes sense.
This is easy. It's fine. They can manage the ones in this book just fine.
From a narrative, fun perspective, I think this is, again, awesome because it goes into Codex, your dudes.
100%.
I love it. Next up, Nowhere to Hide. It's an aura. So in the command phase, you can select one enemy unit on the battlefield. Until the start of your next command phase, when a friendly Deathwatch core unit is within 6 of this Warlord, each time a model in that friendly unit makes an attack against the enemy unit, does not receive the benefit of cover to its saving throw against that attack.
Which means that works for both heavy and light cover. Is it heavy or hard cover? It doesn't really,
whatever it is.
It doesn't really matter. So
Light cover in the other one.
right. So when your core units go to attack within the range of this Warlord, when you're shooting, you ignore light cover, and when fighting them in close combat across barricades or pipes, they don't get the harder cover either. So that's okay. I like that, I suppose. It makes sense. Nowhere to hide, right?
Yeah.
The next one is optimized priority.
One of my favorites.
It's an aura. Let's see why it's your favorite. While a friendly Deathwatch core or character unit that is performing an action within 6 inches of this Warlord, that unit can make ranged attacks without that action failing. So your Warlord himself could do it too. If he's performing, yeah. Your Warlord could do an action because they are a character and they can shoot their gun still. That is very useful in an army that can't quite afford to do actions.
Yeah, that makes it kind of doable. I just, the imagery of, 10 Deathwatch Marines standing around when one puts a little flag on an objective.
Right.
It's kind of annoying that he's going to be close by to do it, but at least, there's the option to be like, hey, everybody shoot your gun still.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't watch them do it.
I got the same things with some of the Necron stuff, and it is a nice option to have when presented with that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Next, we got Castellan of the Black Vault. When mustering your army, you can give one of the following relics to your Warlord. The Adamantine Mantle, Artificer Armor, Mastercraft Weapon, Digital Weapons. This is in addition to the relics they have, and each relic in your army must be unique.
Okay, so you can give them a 2-up, 5-up, a 5-up to ignore wounds, or a Mastercrafted Weapon, or a Digital Weapon, eh?
Honestly, I don't think any of them are super impressive, because the Watchmaster has already got a 2-up save.
Right.
Maybe he won't be in charge. Watchmasters are cool. Take a Watchmaster.
I would, you could Mastercraft his gun, his weapon, though, which is kind of cool. Unless it's already Mastercrafted.
I don't think it's already Mastercrafted, but if you want, actually, there's a different relic you can kind of go with. It's probably more interesting. I know that this is a Warlord trait, but...
This is in addition to their relic, too. So you could have a relic and this.
But I don't think you're allowed to Mastercraft a relic weapon.
Oh, you'd give him a relic weapon.
There's a relic weapon later on,
Oh,
I think. But,
okay,
it's kind of cool. It's the standard one. Not very exciting.
That's fair. I kind of like it. It's interesting. You know what? At least these are all cool, and you're not like, that's boring, that's boring. These are all fun.
Yeah, they're all decent.
Yeah. The Ties That Bind. This is an aura. While a friendly Deathwatch core unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, you can re-roll morale testing for that unit, which is the old They Shall Know No Fear. In your command phase, a second bullet point, you can select one friendly core unit within 6 inches of this Warlord. Until the start of your next command phase, that unit gains the objective secured ability. If a model in that unit already has it, it counts as 2 models instead of 1. Being Deathwatch, you're going to have a lot of OBSEC already, so every model counting as 2 is nice. Yeah, that's a pretty good Warlord trait as well. I'm not too sure which one. I would Paragon of their chapter could be very clutch.
Well, because it just a ton of flexibility. I think optimized priority is really nice depending on how your build is set
what's
up.
going on, yeah.
That's honestly probably Paragon of their chapter is probably the one you're going to see me using the most.
Because it's the most fun one.
Because I can just do whatever else I want with it technically.
100%.
I'm sure I'm going to go through the regular Space Marines and find one to be like, yeah, he's one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have your name characters. Cassius has to take optimized priority, which is the one we were talking about with actions. Codicier Notorian is Nowhere to Hide. I'm not too sure who Codicier Notorian is.
So the Kill Team Cassius from the Deathwatch Overkill, the librarian.
He's just the librarian. Yeah. All right, and then you have
He's going like this.
You got Watch Captain Artemis, who has to take Vigilance Incarnate, which is the reroll wound rolls of 1. One you probably wouldn't want to take all that much.
I don't think I'm ever going to play where Captain Artemis is in charge or present.
Do you have them?
Probably.
Okay, nice. All right, well, the next thing to talk about are all the fancy relics. In fact, they do not get special issue war gear. They just have relics.
They're just worked into it.
They actually, for whatever reason, Josh is right. They are just worked into it instead of being a separate page called special issue war gear. Makes sense. No successors, that kind of stuff. So they got them all. They got 2 pages of a combination of relics and what is obviously special issue war gear. We got a bunch here. So we got the Beacon Angelus. This is an old one that they had before. I don't know if it works the same anymore. But once per battle, if the bearer did not arrive as reinforcements this turn, it can activate the Beacon Angelus. In the reinforcement step of your movement phase, you can select one friendly Deathwatch infantry or biker unit that is either on the battlefield and did not arrive as reinforcements this turn. It is is in a teleportarium chamber or is in strategic reserves, remove that unit and set it up as reinforcements wholly within 6 inches of the bear and more than 9 away from enemy models, so he can bring models to him.
Yeah.
That's
basically
what it did before, actually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it's like the exact same.
100%.
Ish.
I think there's a slight tweak that I didn't catch earlier to how the Deathwatch teleport homers work that interact nicely with this. But again, we'll get there. Basically, it's the same as before.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, pretty simple. Moving on, next is the Dominus Aegis. So it's a model with the Storm Shield, Relic Shield, Combat Shield only. You replace it with this, and it adds 1 to armor saving throws made for the bear. And then the bear has the following ability. While a friendly Deathwatch core Deathwatch character unit is within 6 of the bear, you get a 5-up invuln save.
Okay, so it's a 6-inch aura. It's a shield that provides an aura of 5-up invulnerable saves as opposed to a personal save for it still gives the character a 5-up invuln.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's on a Watchmaster or something, he's already got a 4-up, I assume.
Yeah, that's part of where I kind of wanted to see before. Like, what I think he's just got it built. Oh no, he doesn't have the shield.
Right. But I mean, we're talking, is Proteus the...
No, what I'm saying is that this only replaces a shield.
Oh,
for
that's
guy,
right,
so
he
you
can't take
give-
that. He
yeah.
can't even take that, eh? So it has to be a captain or any of
Right.
the other characters that could take one.
Right, so I assume a captain has a built-in 4-up invuln save already anyway.
It does, yeah. It's got Iron
So,
Halo.
Yeah. So, I mean, in pretty much all these circumstances, I want to say the way that the Aegis worked before is that you had to plant it and not move or something to get the bonus.
Okay.
Again, this is a nice little upgrade. I like it.
It takes the form of an ornate tower shield.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So those big Deathwatch shields that are the Storm Shields are
Yeah.
perfect to use for it. You just make a fancier one.
You can make a fancy one, or if you wanted, you could try and convert on. I guess they're a little too big. I was gonna say you could make a the new Gravis captain. I don't know if they're Gravis captains, but the new captains from the Indominus box that they had that fancy storm
Right.
shield and the sword. They'd be kind of a cool candidate for that as well.
Yeah.
The Osseous key. This is back from the Horse Heresy, eh? And Watchmaster only, the bear has the following aura abilities. While an enemy vehicle is within 12 inches of the bearer, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from its hit rolls. A lot of anti-vehicle stuff randomly for the Deathwatch here.
Well, that was always the Watchmaster, because that's his, basically the
Clavis. and
That's his, it's supposed to be a fancy clavis.
Oh, it is a fancy clavis. The ancient clavis known as the Osseous key is said to be the most powerful of its kind. Neat.
Right. And then if you go to the top of the page,
Oh, there's a second part of that. While an enemy vehicle is within 12 of this, subtract 1 from the attack characteristics of each model. Now, we all know what that's going to matter for. Space Marine Dreadnoughts. Not so much. I can't think of Xenos Dreadnoughts other than Def Dreads and like Killicans, and there's no Necron vehicles that I care about the attack. Oh, Triarch Stalker maybe.
sure.
Yeah, sure. It's not bad in close combat, or a Canoptic Spider. Yeah, okay. It's got some
But
wheels.
Wraith Lords and stuff.
Yeah, Wraith Lords. They are probably vehicles. They might be monsters.
Pretty sure they're vehicles.
They probably are vehicles, though, now that I think about it. But I'm a little iffy on that. I don't know.
Yeah, the Tau stuff can be weird too. But,
Yeah, the
or
Tau-
it used to be. I don't know if they ever changed any of that.
Right. I think they actually do have the vehicle keyword now, like,
good.
thankfully. The next one's the Thief of Secrets for you there.
Yep. So this is power. It replaces the Power Sword, Mastercraft Power Sword, or Xenophase Blade. So +1 strength, AP -4, 1 damage.
Okay, well, it's got an extra AP over that stuff, and it's...
The Xenophase Blades were AP4 anyways,
Oh, okay.
I believe. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, invuln saves can be taken against that attack.
Okay.
That's pretty good. That's already better than it used to be. But then also, each time an attack made with this weapon is allocated to a Tyranid, Eldari, Orc, Necron, or Tau Empire model, it's damage 2.
I like it. It's not my... I'd probably take something else, but I don't mind this.
It's, yeah, I mean, there's better options, but, okay, it's better than it used to be.
It's better than it used to
It's a fancier
be.
kind of sword.
It's true. So
If
we got
if you really hate those invuln saves, you can give your guy a giant knife that gets through him.
And speaking of invuln saves, like, yeah, Xenophase Blades, we'll get to them later, but they're quite nice too for that.
Yeah.
The Tome of the Ectoclades. Once per battle in your command phase, you can use the Tome. If you do, select one data sheet used by a unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of your next command phase, the bear has the following ability. It's an aura. While a friendly Deathwatch core unit is within 6 inches of the bear, each time a model in that unit makes an attack against a unit belonging to the selected data sheet, you can reroll the wound roll. It's a lot of words for saying, I don't like Necron Warriors. Everything that's core within 6 rerolls all wound rolls against Necron Warriors.
So remember earlier when I talked about that Warlord trait that you could reroll? It's an aura of reroll
Wound rolls
ones
one.
against this instead.
Yeah, this is really good. Reroll all.
I mean,
rolls.
granted, you got to pick the data sheet specifically, but
Right.
cool, you reroll all.
And you
wound
do it,
rolls.
and you don't have to do it at the beginning of the game or anything. You could, like, if you absolutely need to murder something, or if you want to do it in the first turn and try and do as much devastating damage to something as you can, you just declare it in your command phase, and that's that. It's once per battle, obviously, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, you just open the book and like, hey, Necron warriors, if you shoot them in the face, they die better.
Right, and it's not a permanent buff they have. It does last until your next command phase, so you have one whole turn of doing a lot of damage to that one data sheet.
Okay, so I'm going to do the next 4 real quick. Ready?
Yeah.
The Adamantine Mantle, Mastercrafted Weapon, Digital Weapons, Artificer Armor.
Yeah, those are all
Guess what?
special issue war gear. And if you take the Warlord trait, you can take one of those in addition to a relic.
Sure. Next up, Blackweave Shroud. So this is add 1 to the toughness characteristic of the bearer.
T5's big.
Each time the bearer would lose a wound as the result of a mortal wound, roll a d6 on a 4, the wound's not lost. But also, I guess, your Gravicy type characters.
T6. That's nice. I was going to say that's nice. A T5, I think, is like on a Watchmaster.
That's a
T5
pretty sweet spot, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be at. T6 is nice too, but there's not too many strength 5 weapons. Is there?
I feel like there is. I don't know.
Heavy
That might
bolters.
just be me.
Heavy bolters.
I like T6 on my bikes for Custodes, so.
It's true.
I just
okay.
like 6 is a good number. Sure.
That's fair.
Heavy bolters? Nope. I'm still making fun of you.
We got the Spear of the First Vigil. I'm going to assume this is the one you like. It's a
That's what I talked about earlier, yeah.
It's a Vigil Spear, so is that only Watchmaster?
It's only Watchmasters.
All right, he replaces a Vigil Spear and has the following profile. So the shooting profile is Rapid Fire 2, Strength 4, AP 1, Damage 2. It's a Mastercrafted bolt gun, but it's Rapid Fire 2 instead of Rapid Fire 1.
Right. And which is the difference? And then the melee side of it?
Is Strength plus 2, -3, 3 damage. And abilities for the shooting profile, it does get special issue ammo, which is kind of cool.
Right. So that's the exact same as the standard one, except for the melee is only +1, -3 d3.
Oh, a fixed 3 damage is nice. I do like fixed damage, like even like 2. I like 2 way better than D3, if possible. Yeah, you probably can't mastercraft a named spear. But consider this. If you mastercraft your Vigil Spear, it's damage D3 plus 1. 2 to 4 damage instead of flat 3. That's really nice. That's real. I'd rather have that, I think. Is the shooting the same?
Shooting, well, it's Rapid Fire 2 instead of Rapid Fire 1.
Okay, well, it's got a little bit more bonus there. I like the Mastercraft. Strength's a little bit lower too, but there's that. It's a pretty good weapon. That is a heck of a good weapon. No doubts there.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Soul Fortress, Librarian model only. Each time a psychic test is taken for the bearer, you can ignore any and all modifiers to that test.
Sure.
Cool.
Screw Space Wolves.
And then Psychic Hood ability goes to 24.
Whoo! All right, that's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I like that.
I like it.
You're a little bit better at denying psychic powers, and a lot better at casting them. Are you going to take it? Maybe, maybe not. It's just a nice option to have. Here we have some special ammo on top of an army that has special ammo. So we got the Bane Bolts of Erexia, which is kind of like, I got the Bolts of Morkai for the Space Wolves and stuff like that. What do these do? When you select this relic, select one bolt weapon that the bearer is equipped with. When that model is chosen to shoot with, you can choose for that weapon to fire a Bane Bolt instead. If you do, you can only make one attack with the weapon, but the attack has a strength of 6, AP of 2, and damage of 3. That's pretty good. You just kind of change up your gun's profile completely.
Yeah, because I think there's one Space Marine, like Captain or Lieutenant, that has some kind of crazy bolt type weapon, right? That can target characters. Am I crazy? Am I entirely crazy?
One of the Phobos ones does.
Yeah, I don't know what the regular characteristic of that gun is, but
It's a little bit worse than that, but that's still pretty good.
yeah,
It's like I think it's also 3 damage, like maybe strength 4 -1 instead, something like that.
so yeah, a little bit better. I don't know.
I
if
can
multiple
even
shots.
look it up for you while you read the next
I
one.
was hinting at that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Luca looks this up. The Vorcan pattern auspicitor.
Vorcan pattern, eh?
The bearer of the has the following ability: Omnicanopticon aura. I don't know what they did with, like, this is the one where it's like, there's a bunch of words.
Okay.
Well, the friendly Deathwatch core units within 6 of the bearer. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against a model that can fly, add 1 to the attack's hit roll.
Okay. Sure.
Cool.
Why not?
I don't really see you going too heavy into that, but that's cool.
So it's the captain in Phobos armor has the Instigator Bolt Carbine.
And what's it do?
It's strength 4, -2, 3 damage, ignores Lookout Sir. So you could have a Deathwatch captain in Phobos armor that would have that instead. If you
With
really
6
wanted
instead? Yeah, you
It's
can throw
strength
it on
6.
other weapons.
Yeah, the only difference is strength 6 instead of strength 4.
That's 6 better than 4, man. That's 2 better than 4. It's 50% better.
It's got 30 inch range.
math.
Assault 1, so tactical doctrine's got AP2.
Yeah.
AP3, sorry.
So, okay, kind of cool.
Not bad. That's something. And then you did the Vulcan Pata Osp. It's a weird one. All right, Artificer Bolt Cache. Bolt weapons that the bearer is equipped with gain the special issue ammunition. Ha! You can do a Stormbolter guy.
Yep.
Stormbolter with special issue ammo. But the special issue ammo is like different now too, kind of. So maybe
It is different, and whoever has access to it is different. Because you would say, wait, what's going on? Almost all bolt weapons had access to it earlier.
Almost all, minus heavy bolters, but maybe almost none have it now. Who knows?
A bunch of the Primaris ones didn't, but again, we'll get into that later. Why not?
Why not?
The last one, kind of fun. Eye of Abiding. Each time the bearer makes an attack, you can ignore any and all hit roll, wound roll, ballistic skill, weapon skill modifiers for that attack. Cool. Each time the bearer makes an attack on an unmodified wound roll of 6, invuln saves can't be made against that attack.
It is a dark bronze bionic eye that seems to be much further in advancement than any Imperial technology, eh? Cool. I like that. Where do you get this eyeball from?
I don't know, but it's stuck in there, and he's shooting you with it now.
He's good at killing Calexis assassins. That's for
The
sure.
assassins? He's like, yeah, don't worry, I got this, guys.
Yeah, he's like, I got this future eye. I'm going to get him real good.
Well, again, like it goes back to that Phobos captain. Throw that relic on him.
Sure, yeah, no invulnerable saves on a 6 to wound, 3 damage. That could be kind of cool.
And, ignore any of these modifiers and all that. Cool. I'm just going to...
Yeah.
It's not super powerful, but it's neat.
It's
I
neat
can build
things-
neat guys.
It's neat things you could do, 100%.
I like things that are neat.
I agree completely. Next, we move on to the Deathwatch specific psychic discipline, which I am almost certain they did not have before.
Yes, you're correct. They did not.
Sick. Xenopurge. I like these names that they come up with for these disciplines.
they are cool.
Interomancy. Xenopurge.
I like Xenopurge. It's very to the point.
Yup, it certainly is. You follow the normal rules for this discipline. Your Psyker either takes all powers from this or from one of the other two. You probably want to take this one because maybe it's cool. I imagine, I'd be disappointed if you didn't want to, right?
Well, let's start off, and we'll get your opinions on how cool you think it
I'll let you
is.
do the first one.
Because you know Psykers better than I do.
Yeah, they roll
powers.
2 dice. They roll 2 dice to try and equal the value of the result.
I made that joke in, I think, one of my Night Lords games where I'm like, did you know Psykers, to take a Psychic test, roll 2 dice and you add them together? This is so neat. Premorphic Resonance. Blessing. Warp charge value is 6. Always okay, happy to see. Yep.
Easy.
One friendly Deathwatch unit within 18 of the Psyker. Till the start of your next Psychic phase, Overwatch on 5-up.
Oh.
Any Overwatch attack, so you don't get Overwatch for free, but if
Yeah,
you do,
you pay your
it's
command
5-up.
point, yeah.
If that unit starts the fight phase within engagement range of any enemy models, it can fight first that phase. Okay. Each time a melee attack is made by a model in the unit, add 1 to the hit roll.
Okay, +1 hits wild.
I love that it's just, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more.
So you Overwatch on a 5-up. You start the fight phase within engagement range, so you get to fight first also, and then you also hit on +1.
Yep.
It's pretty. So it's kind of like as if you were in terrain, defensible terrain, but you get both benefits of it. Overwatch on a 5-up and +1 to hit.
Right.
But you also get to fight first, which is kind of wild. Neat.
Yeah, it's just one of those leave these guys alone unless you're really going to bring the pain.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the player charging still gets to fight first, but if they survive it, they get to retaliate.
Yep.
I mean, that's also pretty good to use on if in a prolonged combat, which interrupts your opponent getting to fight first.
Right.
Fortified with Contempt. It's a blessing on a value of 6. If you manifest it, you select Deathwatch Infantry, Biker unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, each time a model in that unit would lose a wound on a 5-up, that wound is not lost. So it's disgusting resilience on a unit of Bikes or Infantry. Sure.
Cool.
I've always loved that ability. I mean, why wouldn't Deathwatch love it too? They're all up to 2 wounds each now too and stuff like that.
Which makes it twice as good.
Which makes it even better, yeah.
Next, we got Neural Void. Malediction, warp charge value of 7. 1 enemy unit within 18. Until the start of the next Psychic phase, subtract 1 from the attack characteristic of models in that unit. And then each time a charge is declared for that unit, only the closest enemy unit can be selected as the target of that charge.
The -1 attack part is really good. The other one can be situationally good too.
If you position your unit smart. I was going to say, like, the subtract 1 from the attack is okay, but the other one's the other part's the good
I
part.
guess, yeah, if you have a good setup for the other part, you could actually play around that psychic power. You could be aggressive with like a short range weapon, but have another unit just in front of it.
Well, I mean, like hypothetically, you know, like, give me a Space Wolf.
Here's a Space Wolf.
Okay. Oh yeah, he's so spooky in close combat. Oh, this is terrible. I hit you with a power. What can you declare a charge against?
Right. Let's see. Let me read that. That one's pretty good, eh? Yeah, psychic. What was that one? The closest enemy unit can be selected as a target. Each time a charge is declared for that unit, only the closest enemy unit can be selected as the target of that charge. I'm going to assume that wouldn't count because I can't legally charge it. For now.
Doesn't say the closest eligible to.
I know, but I think that's going to be the case for now. But you're right. As of right now, that's correct. But that's the kind of stuff they want to shy away from.
Well, then they shouldn't have written it that way.
It's true.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite power at all.
It depends on if you want to look at the word selected, because he can't technically be selected. I don't know. It depends. Because he's not eligible to be selected. But then only he can be selected. I don't know.
He can be selected, yeah. I don't know.
Psychic Cleanse is the next one. Witchfire. Warp charge of 6. Roll 1d6 for each enemy model within 9 of the Psyker. On a 6, they suffer a mortal wound. That's not good. I'm not going to lie.
That's pretty awful sounding, actually.
That's because even the other ones that are like that, you pick a unit, you roll a die for every model in that unit. This one's only every model within 9 inches. That's a clear loser.
Only on a 6.
That's a clear loser. If that was like every model within 9 on a 4-up, absolutely. There's the power. Yeah. You charge your Psyker into close combat, and hopefully he survives, and then next turn does Psychic Cleanse.
It's still pretty awful.
It's still pretty bad, unless you get charged, you survived, and you're like, boom, Psychic Cleanse. But I'm assuming it's only working on a 4-up. Obviously,
Still not that great.
It's still bad, yeah. No, this is a bad Psychic power, unfortunately.
Next we got Mantle of Shadow. So warp charge value 6 blessing. Manifested succumb when friendly Deathwatch infantry unit within 12 of the Psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. If that unit does not shoot or declare a charge, enemy models cannot target that unit with ranged attacks unless they're within 12 of it or it is the closest eligible target.
Okay.
So I feel like that's that one of like, hey, those guys doing an action, they're not there.
Right, yeah. That's actually very similar to the Raven Guard one. Or is that in the Obscurus discipline? I can't remember. It's something, sneaky movement, shenanigan tactics. I don't even pay attention to them. That's not I hate that. That kind of stuff. Cowardly tactics. Get out of here. None of that stuff here. But it's good. It is very good. You perform an action, then you throw Mantle of Shadow on them, especially if it's an action that allows your opponent a turn to react to it.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like that's really good. Unless they get within 12, but then there's no point in casting the power on them. The last power, the 6th one, is a Severance. It's a malediction cast on a 7. If manifested, you select an enemy character within 18 inches of the Psyker. They suffer a mortal wound. Until the start of your next psychic phase, reduce the range of that unit's auras by 3 inches. And if the result of the power is greater than their leadership, then until the start of your next psychic phase, enemy units cannot benefit from that unit's. Oh, okay, so you either reduce it by 3, or if you roll higher than their leadership, you just turn them off. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially since, I don't know, their leadership, typically HQ leaderships are rather high, but if you could turn it off, that's pretty good.
If you spike the dice, it's one of those, like, it's cool when it happens, but I'm not going to count on it. So that's part of my whole gripe with psychic powers. I'm like, no.
Right.
Only one guy can try to do it.
And it's not going to work half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really want it to work. You want to spike the dice super high and be higher than their leadership.
So it's even more swingy, right? Yeah.
So overall, I don't know. You're a filthy Psyker lover. What do you think?
Well, I don't like Psychic Cleanse. Severance is kind of cool.
Nah.
I hope Neural Void doesn't work the way we initially kind of had an idea there, but it could be a kind of... So, okay, my problem with Neural Void is, I think the subtract 1 from the attack one is okay, but it's like if you already don't want something getting charged, wait, can they only declare it? So no, it is still pretty good, because like, if this is the thing I want to charge, and you have something here in front of it, and whatever, this is the thing charging, I can only select that one to charge. So even though that one's even though I'm like, I'll charge both, I'm like, whatever, I'll just do that, that's a reasonable charge, I can only select that one, so I can just pile into that one, and that one would still be safe, I can't attack it. I still think that's a very powerful ability.
If it works.
Yeah.
I go back to the whole, like...
It's a 7. If that one's cast on a 7, I do not like any psychic powers that go off on a 7. 5s and 6s, that's where you want to be. It's
Yeah.
kind of like old edition where you'd have to manifest warp charge 2, and you need like 2 4-ups to get a psychic power up. And
Right,
then,
it's just not reliable.
Not
so that's
reliable at all.
it's one of those like the discipline. If you like psychers, you probably like the discipline.
Right.
But this hasn't inspired me to
Right. And you know
suddenly
what?
play them.
This discipline doesn't scream anything too crazy. Nero Void really good. Pre-Morphic Resonance and Fortified with Contempt. Those first 3 are all very usable. Psychic Cleanse, Severance, and Mantle of Shadow are very like Psychic Cleanse is bad. Severance is situationally good, and so is Mantle of Shadow.
Yeah, in my mind, I guess it's one of those like this does not inspire me to pay points for a psyker and not be able to take that. What's that crazy kill the witch one? Abhor the witch.
Abhor the Witch.
Secondary.
Yeah. Exactly, which is such a good secondary. In most cases,
So
when relevant, it's very good.
I mean, I'm not the guy to talk to about psychic powers. I think they're okay. These are kind of cool. I'm never gonna use them.
But well, you said it yourself. They don't inspire you to want to bring a psyker.
Nope.
Right.
So unless I'm missing something, folks, not my cup of tea.
I do like Nero Void, but that value of 7 is a big turnoff.
Yeah.
Not great there. Next will be the chapter approved rules.
Looking at the secondary objectives you can now pick. Again, you can only pick one of these. It's the same as the Necron, Space Wolves, the other kind of stuff we've seen so
It's
far.
would probably be the same across the board, I imagine.
But yeah, let's just jump right into this. Battlefield Supremacy, the Long Vigil. This is a progressive. 5 victory points at the start of your command phase if there are no enemy units, excluding aircraft, within 6 of your deployment zone, and there's at least 1 Deathwatch unit, excluding aircraft, from your army wholly within your deployment zone. You can't score the secondary during the first battle round.
So you keep 1 unit in your deployment zone, and you make sure the enemy has none. And if you do that for 3 battle rounds, you get max points on it. Could be pretty good. I mean, the Deathwatch have the firepower to make sure things stay out of their deployment zone, for sure. So
Yeah. It's one of those, I mean, depending on, like, obviously it's nice that you get to pick this after you see your opponent's army. 'Cause
Right.
there might be certain opponents where I'm like, this might be tough for a turn or two, but,
Yep.
maybe I can do it on turn 2 and turn 5 fairly reliably.
Right.
Like, you look at the rest of the mission to see where the objectives are, where your opponent's going to have to be, and I mean, this is super, like, oh my god, this is amazing, I'm going to take it every time, but I'm like, there's definitely battles I can think of where I would take this and be comfortable.
right, it does replace engage on all fronts, though. That's the same.
Yeah, which it's such a crutch,
Right.
And I've been bad at it recently, especially. So this, cool.
This one's much easier to remember than engage on all fronts, though. That's for sure. I like it. I mean, you can't do it on turn 1, obviously, and turn 2, doable. I think you're right. Turn 3, 4 will be a struggle. Then 5 if you can, pull it off. So that's 10 points there. 15 if you're really effective at doing it.
Right.
The next one will be from the Purge the Enemy category. This is Cull Order. If you select the secondary objective, then after both sides have finished deploying, starting with your opponent, both players alternate selecting battlefield roles, HQs, troops, heavy supports, etc., from the units in their opponent's army until 3 different battlefield roles have been selected. If their opponent's army does not include units with 3 battlefield roles, select as many as possible. At the end of the battle, for each battlefield role that was selected, score 5 victory points if every unit in your opponent's army with the battlefield role with that battlefield role has been destroyed. Wow, that's a lot for pretty basic. Essentially, if you kill, you and your opponent select battlefield roles.
I think you get to pick, starting with the opponent, both players.
Yeah.
Select. So your opponent gets to pick 2, you get to pick 1.
Right.
And so depending on how they've built their army, like if they only got 1 HQ, you can be like HQs. And if you kill that HQ, it's 5 extra points at the end of the game.
Yeah, 5 victory points at the end.
Same
of the
like
game.
if they got 1 heavy support, 1 whatever.
Right.
They're gonna pick 2, and they're ideally gonna be picking 2 that they have a lot of.
Yeah.
But if they have a lot of them, then they probably place high value on them, and you're like, cool, I'm gonna stomp them. I'm gonna squish them.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are what I'm gonna focus down.
And then they typically will have, like, maybe they're playing patrol. They'll only have 1 troop or 1 HQ. You're right. And then you pick, okay, I pick that.
Yep.
I'll kill your 10-man, your 3 Ripper Swarms for 5 victory points every day of the week,
Yep.
right?
And all of a sudden they have to play them very different.
Yeah.
So I like this. It's one of I think it would be difficult to maximize your 15 points on. I
Right.
see that being an issue in a lot, but it might be one of those ones where for Purge the Enemy, if you're like, it could be an easy 5. I feel like it'd be an easy 5 points because the one that you get to pick, you should be able to kill. That should be an easy 5 points. So if there's not a better Purge the Enemy, I mean, this seems like a decent option. And depending on how they've built their list, they this might be really good. I don't know. It definitely is a contender.
They have to well, I mean, if they know we're playing Deathwatch, they have to at least be smart about building the list in that regard. Then you don't want one of anything. You don't want one of anything too easy to kill.
But then again, how often are you?
You just
building,
don't take that objective.
How often are you tailoring against your opponent?
I know you should never.
You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be ever. Yeah.
But even if you are, like even in like a meta where it's just you and your buddy playing against each other, this could still make sense sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. The next one is for shadow operations. These are the typically actions and stuff like that. This is Cripple Stronghold. It is also an action. If you select the secondary objective, then after both sides have finished deploying, your opponent must select one objective marker on the battlefield to be the location of their stronghold objective marker. It has to be an objective in their territory, if not one closest to their territory. If you select the secondary objective, the Deathwatch infantry units from your army can attempt the following actions as described in the core rulebook. It's Cripple Stronghold. Only one infantry unit from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase if it is within range of the stronghold objective marker that your enemy or your opponent picked. No enemy units are in range of the objective marker, and this action is completed at the start of your next command phase so long as the unit performing the action is still within range of the same objective marker. You score 6 victory points each time a unit from your army successfully completes this action. That one is super hard to pull off.
That one is, and I feel like that's that difficult, like, sometimes I know there's often, when I'm picking secondaries, like, there's two that I really want to do, and then there's almost kind of a throwaway one. Like, that might be, depending again on the situation, that throwaway one.
Right. Like that is, not only does your opponent have an entire turn to respond to it, they pick an objective in their territory.
Well, it must be wholly, if there's any wholly within their territory,
right?
Or sorry, in their deployment zone, then they got to pick
right.
one of those ones. Otherwise, they can pick whatever.
Right.
Depending on how many, it might be one of those cool, like you are forced to babysit that objective because I got guys in the teleportarium to come take it.
It's true, but I mean, you're going to want to be on the objective anyways, right? You could, if they don't put a lot there though, that's their own fault knowing you pick Cripple Stronghold.
Well, exactly, yeah. It's one of those weird ones where this might be good depending on how they want to play.
And you have to do it for 3 turns to get max points, otherwise you get 12.
Yeah, but 12's not bad. Like,
12's pretty good.
It's one of those, like, if there's not better options, this might be cool to try to get 6 points out of.
You could, I mean, you could sneak it in for 1 turn probably, but again, your opponent gets in a, like, if you do manage to make it so there's no units there, and you're the only one there, your opponent still has 1 turn to kill that unit that's on it. Like, that's wild.
Yep.
That is very difficult, but could be big.
That's why it's 6 points.
Yeah. If you do pull it off. And we got one more.
If you'll notice, I think we somehow tricked Luke into reading the 2 longest ones, so thank you for that.
Yeah, those are wildly long.
Because I think Cripple Stronghold was my turn to read, but you just jumped in, like the trooper that you are.
Did I do Call Order? I did do Call Order. Oh, look at that.
So last one, Suffer Not the Alien. This is no mercy, no respite. 1 victory point at the end of the battle for every enemy Tyranid, Eldari, Orc Necron, and Tau Empire unit destroyed by a Deathwatch unit from your army.
Now that is very hard as well.
Yeah, well, okay.
You'll always
very hard to max out on.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get a couple points on.
Right, you'll get a couple points for that. If it's a pretty close game, you kill probably 4 or 5 of your opponent's units, maybe 6. And then they kill a bunch of yours. You get 6 points for it. But I feel like I don't know if getting like just 6 or 7 points is worth justifying. How many points is it worth justifying a secondary?
It depends. That's the thing. It's you have to be smart about picking your secondary. So there might be times where you're like, man, okay. Have you played games where you have a throwaway secondary objective that you're like, I'm never going to score points on this, but I took it just because. Like I'm going to score this is I'm going to get 3 points on this engage on all fronts because of how this is set up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've actively picked them thinking that, but then in the reality of the game, that's the case.
Where it's like this isn't going to do anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I'm like, no, I have ambitions for it, and then it just turns out to not do anything.
Right. So that's where these kind of come in cool. Overall, I like them all. There's none where I'm like, how often am I going to be using one of these? I don't know. 30% of the time. It depends on what I'm playing against. I like having more options.
Yeah. Like, whereas the Necron one, I typically always take Purge the Vermin. That one's very easy to
because
accomplish.
I assume everybody's always taking that one, and you're kind of that guy.
Yeah. I mean, we all are that guy. I mean, I'm going to take the Hero Challenge for Space Wolves every time, too, probably.
Yeah, I know.
That one's
super cool. I like these secondaries. I think some of them might fit the way that I want to play Deathwatch. Honestly, Call Order is probably the one I would be aiming towards.
Call Order does seem quite good. Out of all of them,
easy 5. Give me 5 easy, delicious victory points.
Right, and then
Nom nom.
the rest of it could be help you focus on what you need to kill too for a 10 if you really wanted to. And that's it for those secondaries there. But now we have some of the more interesting.
The rest of there's a whole page on creating kill teams before you have the kill team rules.
Right. It's crazy. Here is datasheet rules and creating kill teams.
We're like
Wild.
halfway done.
Yeah. We knew there was going to be a lot for this one.
Alrighty, so looking at data sheets, we're going to start by talking about just the abilities, which are the two. It's special issue ammunition and mixed unit.
Right.
We're going to kind of comb through this. We're going to comb through this on camera. We're going to do this together.
There's a lot.
See if we miss anything here.
There is a lot.
Because basically what it is, so let's get into special issue ammunition. There's no longer a list of things that have special issue ammunition. You actually have to look at the profile and see if they have literally the special issue ammunition rule. Pro tip, it ain't much.
No, the special issue ammunition is more of a minor thing of being a Deathwatch player now. It's not really like your go-to all-around thing at all, actually. Yep. It's kind of crazy.
But they've also changed the actual special issue ammunition. So let's go through them first. So each time units select to shoot contains any models that are equipped with a weapon with this ability. Before you select any targets, each weapon with the ability can fire special issue ammunition. If you do, select one of the ammunition types below. To the end of the phase, each time the weapon's fired, apply the modifiers and abilities associated with that special ammunition. Pretty straightforward. It works the same way that it used to. You're not allowed to split up different types of special issue ammunition.
Yeah, and you have the same 4 named rounds, though they do work a little different.
Dragonfire bolts. Each time an attack is made with a weapon firing the special issue ammunition, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack.
So that would ignore dense terrain as well.
Yeah. So ignoring
Light
dense and light cover.
Yeah, it ignores light cover and dense terrain.
Which it used to be literally just if they were in cover, you got +1 hit.
Yeah, so I think we got that one it became a winner. That one got better.
That one became much better.
For sure.
Next step, talking about winners, Hellfire rounds.
This is not a winner.
Each time an attack is made with a weapon firing this special ammunition against a unit that does not have the vehicle or Titanic keyword, add 1 to the attack's wound roll.
Yeah.
Used to be you wounded on 2s.
Yes, that took a massive hit. Massive hit. You still wound guard on 2s and Eldari on 2s.
Yep, it's not terrible.
And Tau on 2s.
I mean, like, I'd still be using this sometimes.
Right.
But luckily, they took away special issue ammunition from a lot of the things you'd be using it on.
So you didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, who cares?
It's true. So I'm very happy to see that no longer can you wound Plague Marines on 2s.
I'll just be re-rolling a lot of wound rolls against you.
Instead, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but at least it's not wounding on 2s, re-rolling 1s. Because that's what it always was. I choose troops, I shoot at Plague Marines, I'm going to use Hellfire rounds, and I reroll 1s. Awesome.
Let's go over the Kraken bolts next. Each time an attack is made with a weapon firing this special issue ammunition, add 6 to the range characteristic and improve the armor pen by 1. This is cumulative with the armored penetration bonuses conferred by the combat doctrines.
That's nice. That's good to know.
So that's, I think that's pretty much the exact way you worked before.
Plus 6-inch range, plus 1 AP. The other one was the other one's a little different now, eh?
The other one is different. Vengeance rounds. So Vengeance rounds used to be 2 better AP, but there was a certain
6.
cap.
Right.
Because weapons inbuilt AP, and then your doctrine bonuses and all that.
Right.
They
You could get
ones.
up to like AP 5 on some of these bad boys.
Yeah,
if
but
you wanted to.
but they wouldn't let you do it. The maximum you can have is AP -3, I think.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, Vengeance round, and it used to be less range. Now Vengeance rounds is just each time an attack is made with this weapon, add 1 to the damage characteristic.
That can be nice.
Cool.
I like that each one of these has an option. Every single one of these is a good option.
Right.
For their specific situation.
So looking at this, let me see. I wanted to get back into it. I think it was looking at the relics. The Artificer Bolt Cache. Bolt weapons that the bear is equipped with gain the special issue ammunition ability. So like the captain with the crazy 3 damage sniper bolter thing.
Right.
Cool. He can make use of these if he takes that cache.
Right. That's true, yeah, because you take the cash thing and then he used special ammo and then he could
That
he could do 4
bolter.
damage shot, sure, a single 4 damage shot, or you could do ignoring, modify, dense cover, light cover. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's something you could do with that.
So, okay. Kind of cool. I like it.
Right. I mean, out of all of them, they got better or changed the same or Hellfire rounds got hit.
Yep,
which
which
is fine.
kind of makes sense.
'Cause they
But
were two
again, people are going to... I don't know if people are focusing on that
They're going
right
to focus
now.
on that for sure.
Well, no, they're going to focus on who can actually use it.
Because it's like, no.
Slashed.
It's kind of wild.
I don't know, I'm hoping that when I go and like read the
You
rules,
read it
I'm like,
again, you're like,
oh!
Yeah, for
But I don't
sure.
think that's going to happen.
Okay, well, the next unit or datasheet ability is mixed units and how to resolve their rules. When rolling to the first big paragraph is different toughness characteristics and rolling to wound against a unit with mixed toughness. You use the average toughness, so if you have like one bike and they're a toughness 5, but the rest are all toughness 4, you're wounding against toughness 4. And you can put the wounds on the bike if you wanted to, but if there is no majority toughness, then you as a controlling player selects which of the values is the majority value. So if there's like one toughness 4 and one toughness 5 guy, you could say the unit's toughness 5.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all. But if there's 2 toughness 4 guys and 1 toughness 5, you have to say they're toughness 4. And all that. And then for the purpose of bolter discipline, and for determining which models can embark within a transport model, the following rules will apply. Terminator models have the Terminator keyword. Wild. What a wild concept, okay? Biker models do not have the infantry keyword and instead have the biker keyword. Crazy. Vanguard veteran models with jump packs have the jump pack keyword. Inceptor models have the jump pack keyword. Yeah, okay. Outriders don't have infantry, they have the biker keyword. Vanguard veterans with jump packs and Inceptors can move across terrains if they have the fly keyword. Okay. Note that for the purpose of interacting with terrain features, all models in this unit are treated as infantry, even if this unit contains any biker models that might have behave differently or have specific restrictions while interacting with terrain features, such as only infantry can gain cover.
Yeah.
Bikers cannot gain cover, but it's saying if you have a biker in your unit, they'll still gain cover.
Right.
Right. This is clarifying that. Designer's note. This is a slight abstraction. That means that a biker model in a mixed unit behaves slightly different to a biker model in other units, but it helps to minimize unusual and complicated effects that could come about from forcing one model from a unit to move and benefit from cover or in a different way to other models from the same unit. Just kind of trying to make it clean. That's one of more of those, the designers are literally saying this is an abstract rule, so there's probably going to be some arguments about that. I hope not, but it's pretty clear to me what they're trying to do with that one there. Now, if you have a unit of all bikers, they follow the normal rules for all bikers. It's only if they have the mixed unit issue going on there. And that's your 2 data sheet rules you're going to see for there. And then the next is...
So, I'm going to interrupt because we're going to jump to somewhere else because now we've started talking about special
Okay, you want to talk about what actually gets it?
Now we got to go back and we actually got to look because there's no list of weapons that get it. So we need to go to the war gear section and look at the war gear.
Wow, do we have to go through this like individually and figure so there's no like little character, there's no chart here that says which guys have special issue ammo. You just have to.
Do you want to list them off real quick?
Okay, I will. Deathwatch bolt pistol, Deathwatch bolt gun. They both have special issue ammo.
Deathwatch Combi Flamer, Deathwatch Combi Grav, Deathwatch Combi Melta, Deathwatch Combi Plasma, all have special issue ammunition.
Is that it?
Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun.
Oh yeah, but buddy, that's only on like one guy, right?
We get in there.
Yeah.
And then Stalker Pattern Bolt Guns, which are now only Heavy 1. I think they used to be Heavy 2.
Heavy 2 sounds familiar.
Heavy 2, Strength 4, AP minus 2, 1 damage. Now they're 2 damage, but only Heavy 1.
Right, okay.
And then the Vigil Spear. That,
right.
As far as I can tell, folks, is the full list of things that can fire special issue ammunition.
Yes, so what that mostly means is Stormbolters do not get it. And bikers do not get it.
Because, well, okay, so when we flip over to where because you say, Josh, you said Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun. If you look at veteran bike squads, they are armed with twin bolt guns, not Deathwatch twin bolt guns.
Yes.
The only instance I can think of that I can find with a Deathwatch twin bolt gun is the single bike from Kill Team Cassius.
Yes. So your Terminators and Stormbolters do not get it. Your bikes do not get it. Your Intercessors don't even get it, actually, right?
Your veterans with Stormbolters
don't get it. Yeah. So there's the only thing that really get it: Watchmaster, regular veterans with Deathwatch bolt guns, and anyone with a Deathwatch combi weapon.
Yeah, because even Deathwatch bolt pistols, like nobody has them, man. Like
right, Deathwatch bolt. Do veterans not have Deathwatch bolt pistols?
No, I don't think they
Deathwatch
do, and I don't think it's on the list. So Chaplain Cassius has one. Codicier Notorian has one. Deathwatch Veterans, They have Deathwatch bolt guns and power swords, but we'll touch on that later. But if we look at the list of weapons they can take, I don't think Deathwatch bolt pistols are on there.
Yeah, I don't know where this Deathwatch bolt pistol must be on some obscure character.
So those 2 random named characters I talked about.
Yeah, Kill
And
Team
then
Cassius.
Kill Team Cassius, I don't know. There's somebody in there with a bolt pistol. It's a Deathwatch bolt pistol, but who cares?
Right. So Deathwatch bolt gun would be every veteran. So they at least have that going for them.
So even your standard, like if you have a captain, and this is my understanding of it right now, I might be incorrect, who knows, somebody might be already yelling at me in the comment section. Like if you take a regular captain out of the Space Marine Codex, which is where you get your captain data sheet from, he doesn't have a Deathwatch bolt pistol.
Right. So when it comes to Deathwatch equipment, you can either take 2 items from the left or 1 item from the right, which is where your Deathwatch weapons are. So whoever, and then that'll obviously be like, if you go to like primary, like you go to captain, where's captain? Where's regular captain? Captain, bam. Warrior options.
Does it say anything if he's Deathwatch keyword, he gets to this?
Not even. He gets to take war gear from the Space Marine book. So Deathwatch captain. A veteran can take a Deathwatch, like a bike veteran can take a Deathwatch bolt gun, I think. Is that a thing? Because I think it said Deathwatch veterans.
No. Oh, 2 items from the Deathwatch equipment list.
That's the sergeant, right?
Yeah, that's just the sergeant.
So like the veteran bike sergeant can take a Deathwatch bolt gun or a Deathwatch combi weapon, but like the rest of the bikers themselves cannot. Right.
So we'll get that one out of the way. I don't know how I feel about that.
So it's new book, new philosophy on designing it. You just have to be like, special issue ammo's there, but it's not the main focus of the army anymore.
Yeah.
That's just not their thing. If you really want the special issue ammo, you have to run a lot of the Deathwatch veteran kill teams, which is the Proteus kill team, which we'll get into in a moment.
But that's that. Let's go into creating kill teams now.
Yes,
because we're going to come back to this when we hit the data sheets.
Right. So creating kill teams.
Creating kill teams now.
Creating kill teams now.
So when you're mustering your army or adding a unit to your order of battle, the reason I'm laughing is because Lucas said, do you want to reread this real quick or do you want to just jump right into it? And he just, as he's saying it, he just turns the camera on.
Because you were probably saying, no, yeah, we'll get into it. And then I just interrupted the sentence. Hilarious.
So when you're mustering your army or adding a unit to your order of battle, you can create a kill team. Kill team unit can be comprised of models from different Adeptus Astartes data sheets as described below. You can add any number of kill teams to your army subject to the usual restriction. Each kill team has the troops battlefield role.
Right. Which is nice.
And it's having the troop battlefield role, which I think is the thing that gives you OBSEC.
Yeah,
I'm not missing anything there.
That's in the Space Marine book. All troops have OBSEC.
So creating a kill team between 5 and 10 models. It's going to give you the details on the next page. Talks about the war gear here. Same with the... Okay. So a model including kill team can be equipped with any of the war gear listed for the model under the war gear options, the original data sheet. For the purpose of war gear options, any option that requires a minimum number of models in the unit will require that number of models of that type to be included. So, like, if, let's say you want to do, I don't know, if there's one random unit that, like, 1 in 5 guys can take this.
Right.
You know, like 1 in 5, let's say heavy intercessors or whatever. Or 1 in whatever heavy intercessors could take certain weapons. You can't count, like, if you also have eradicators in that unit. You don't count the total unit.
They're separate completely.
Of that type. I didn't say that well, but I think you guys get the gist of it.
Right. You still need to follow the normal rules. Yeah, I get it. It is kind of weird to explain, but I get it.
Right. Abilities, all kill team units have the mixed unit ability, which we just talked about. Model and kill team retains any abilities that applied to that model on its original data sheet. If a model and kill team unit has an ability on the original data sheet that requires every model in the unit to have that ability in order to be able to use it, then they can only use that ability if every model in the kill team has that ability. So it's the idea of, you know, like the Terminators and the teleport strike ability or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gives an example of Elliot creating a Proteus kill team of 5 veterans and 5 Terminators and then combat squatting them. And then the Terminators are technically troops, and then they use their teleport strike ability.
And because if you combat squatted, so it's the 5 Terminators,
Right.
and then the 5 other models,
'Cause, yeah.
they can use their teleport strike.
Right, because combat squatting is part of kind of like mustering your army in a way.
Right, but like you can't combat squatted, so it's like 4 Terminators and 1 veteran.
That would mess it up.
You can't teleport strike then.
100%.
So it's a pretty simple concept.
yeah.
They're clarifying you can't do any of this super weird.
I wonder if the 4 could still teleport strike though. If you like,
Well, if you combat squad and all 4 of them have it, then sure.
yeah, but the 1 remaining can't do it. He's just kind of on his own doing his own thing with the Proteus kill team. That's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, when you combat squad, is it going to be an even split, or can you?
That's what I'm looking up right now, page 124. I've never bothered combat squatting because I don't play Deathwatch, so...
It's honestly, that's kind of a statement that I've heard more than a couple times.
Combat squad.
I think you're going to be a 10-man squad, and you got to split it even.
So deployment abilities, which are used during deployment, are commonly to teleport strike during deployment if every model is... Yeah, so combat squad, at the start of deployment, before any units have been set up, if this unit contains the maximum number of models that it can, then it can be split into 2 units containing an as equal a number of models as possible. When splitting a unit using this ability, make a note of which models form each of the 2 new units.
So that sounds like a really wordy way of saying, like, if it's a maximum 6, you got to take 6 and you can split into 2 units of 3.
Correct.
Or 10-man unit.
Right.
So anyways, moving on, next, keywords. So kill team units don't retain any keywords from their original datasheet. Instead, kill team units have the following faction keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, and Deathwatch. Now, when we look at the kill teams on the next page, they get a bunch of extra
Keywords based on what's actually in them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then power rating, it starts to fixed value, and then depending on what you add.
Oh, wow, they have a very complex example here of Elliot's kill team here.
Elliot's kind of, I don't know what Elliot's doing.
And Elliot's doing some weird stuff.
But yeah, so they're like, I think they've done a fairly good job, from what I can tell, of like, don't do anything stupid. You're not allowed to.
Right, and it is important to note you do have to have the maximum size of that to combat squad.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess like when it says include 5, you include up to 5 bikes, you have to include those 5 bikes to combat squad or 5 Terminators to combat squad and all that stuff.
Well, it doesn't have to be 5 of
Whatever
again, kill teams can go up to 10 man.
Right.
So as long as you have 10 models, you can split them however you want.
Oh,
so you don't have to put.
Oh, okay,
yes.
okay. I wasn't too sure if it worked like you can have up to 5 veterans and then up to 5 bikes, Terminators, or whatever.
Yes, that's basically how. We're gonna get into this now, and it'll answer everybody's questions.
It is kind of complicated. This is why I don't play Deathwatch or have any interest in playing Deathwatch.
So we're gonna
4 kill teams.
Start with the Proteus kill team. So Proteus kill team is a Watch Sergeant, 4 Deathwatch veterans, and you can add 5 of any of the following models: Deathwatch veteran, Deathwatch Terminator, Veteran Biker, Vanguard Vet.
Which is the jump guy. Okay, so now it all
Vanguard
makes
Vet doesn't have to have a jump pack, right? Or do they have to have a jump pack?
Well, let's go
I
ahead.
don't think it makes a big, huge difference.
Go see Codex Space Marines Vanguard Veteran Squad. They are elites. I will go do that. Veteran Intercessor, Company Veteran, Blade Guard Veteran, Stern Guard Veteran, Vanguard Veteran. They can be equipped with a jump pack.
And I'm assuming it's extra points at the back of the book or something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it doesn't make a huge difference, but I guess you could have him
Without a jump pack?
without it.
You could, but I mean, like,
If you really
that kind of
squeeze
defeats the
for
purpose
points.
of what you're trying to bring him for, right?
Probably. I mean, like,
You're bringing him for the fallback and shoot stratagem.
you really, really are.
Yeah. Vanguard Veteran. How many points is that anyways? I'm curious. Jump pack is probably 2 points per model. It is 2 points a model. Look at that.
Okay, so if you want to save a couple points, I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess.
I immediately comprehend everything that's going on when it comes to the kill teams. They're all troops, and under the any Adeptus Astartes detachment automatically gets objectives secured for their troops, if they're all if they're all Adeptus Astartes. Yeah.
So moving on with the Proteus kill team. Following change to one ability applies. Veteran bikers can only turbo boost if their unit only contains veteran biker models.
Such as after using combat squads.
Right. So Proteus kill teams, they have the following keywords: Infantry, Core, Kill Team, Proteus.
Could you do something really weird like make a I don't know why you would, but you could, maybe you would. You do like your 5 veterans with the sergeant, and then you do like bike, Terminator jump pack guy, then like split that squad, like 3 veterans and the sergeant, like a Terminator and a bike, and then...
If you wanted to.
Sounds awful.
I don't know. Honestly, not with the Terminators, but with the other, like having a single bike and Vanguard vet.
Right.
Like if you did 6 veterans and then 2 Vanguard vets, 2 bikes, and combat squad that. So it's 3 veterans, 1 bike, 1 jump guy per squad.
Right.
You can kind of make something interesting with that. It's a little goofy and unfocused, but it's sure. 100%, because this is Codex your dudes. Do what you want with them.
It's very flexible, but there's like a lot of rules making sure you don't somehow find a way to break it.
So, in addition, which is nice because things are weird and it's nice to have clarification. So the unit can gain the following keywords. While a Proteus kill team unit contains any Vanguard vets, it has the Melt-A-Bomb keyword. And while it contains only Vanguard vets with jump packs, it has the Fly keyword.
That makes sense. If it's only Vanguard vets, of course they'll have Fly, yeah.
Well, Vanguard vets with jump packs, because you can take them without jump packs.
Right, that's true. Only with jump packs, that's right. That also makes sense. Yeah.
Well, the Proteus kill team only contains Deathwatch Terminators. It has the Terminator keyword.
Well, it doesn't have it if it has one Terminator, right?
No, you don't get the Terminator keyword. And then same thing with Bikers.
Oh, that's right, because the Terminator keyword allows Bolter Discipline.
Right.
True.
So looking at this, you can build some really cool, interesting kill teams with this. And they retain the core keyword.
Yes.
I don't know in the Space Marine Codex how often, I think a lot of stuff have core. I don't know, do Vanguard vets have core?
Yeah, they're core, yeah.
Like pretty much everything, but it's nice to clarify that, they still retain that.
Just kind of clarifying that, yeah, they have core. They have the Melt-A-Bombs keyword, they already clarified that too. It's a lot for something kind of basic, but they kind of have to, or else it could get very confusing. I fully understand, like because of this, I fully understand it. And a little bit of your description as well of how it works. So we got 3 more kill teams.
Okay, well, I can bang through these pretty quick.
Yeah.
The Fortis kill team, this one is the intercessor-based one. So 1 intercessor, sergeant, 4 regular intercessors, 5 of any of the following: assault intercessor, outrider, hellblaster. Cool. So it used to be a primary kill team that could also take the inceptors. You can't take them in this anymore. Nay.
Yeah, they're part of the Gravis one now.
Right. You get the following additional war gear options. Any intercessor or intersergeant can have their bolt rifle replaced with one of the following: 1 auto bolt rifle or stalker bolt rifle.
And you got to remember, these guys do not get special issue ammo, folks.
Nope, because those weapons don't have the rules for it, because they're not in the back of the book, and they don't have special issue ammunition in the Space Marine
book either. Yeah.
I'm curious to see how.
Same.
Yeah.
If there's gonna be some, they have
People aren't going to be happy. I'm okay with it for now, I think.
because there's so many different things you can do.
Then
now.
again, I didn't buy that much Primaris stuff, and I didn't buy that many Stormbolters, so I don't know.
So yeah, you pretty much have all the special issue guys still.
So Hellblaster, again, can take the different Hellblaster weapons. The change to the abilities, Devastating Charge only applies to Outriders. And again, Outriders can only turbo boost if it's nothing but Outriders.
Correct.
And then again, you get the kill, you get the keywords: Infantry, Core, Primaris, Kill Team, Fortis. If it contains only Outriders, you get the Biker keyword. There's the power rating stuff. So this is kind of an interesting one to talk about, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Outriders are normally capped at 3 in the...
Right, this is the big thing to talk about. Yes, you can include any of the 5 following models. Deathwatch are able to run units of 5 Outriders.
So what you do is you take your 5 Intercessors,
And
and
include-
you add 5 Outriders, and then you split them.
Combat squad.
And now you have 5 Outriders who are objective secured troops.
Yep, and but they can't use special issue ammo.
They couldn't before anyways,
true,
because it's
yeah.
the first time you can take them.
I just like to point that out. I think it's kind of funny that for whatever reason, you know what, if they could though, yikes.
That would be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, 'cause
they
they
can
have-
do a lot of other cool stuff with them.
Right.
So I think that sounds kind of powerful. The same, it's nice to be able to have like a couple Intercessors with like a Hellblaster 2 mixed in. Mm-hmm. So
Now,
that's handy.
They don't gain any weird stratagem war gear options, this one in particular. It's just you just get the cool stats of the Primaris guys.
Yeah.
Essentially, like, I guess the Outriders would allow you to fall back and charge.
Yeah, they would. They would let
still
you fall
allow
back and charge.
for one command point, yeah.
Which, okay, cool. You know, if you want to run a squad of 4
As troops, then
Assault
keep one.
Intercessors and you got 1 Outrider with them,
Yeah,
all right, boys, fall back and charge again.
yeah.
Cool. You can do it this
Yeah,
way.
the Outriders themselves. Oh, I guess. Because the Outriders themselves get those extra attacks with devastating charge, so you want to fall back and charge with them as much as you can. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they would do a ton of damage. Yikes, that's kind of cool. Like, you kind of look at it like, if you had these 2 kill teams, if they both had access to special issue ammunition, I would Fortis kill team is way better. But now these guys have special issue ammo, right? So there's something to consider about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's the idea here, that it was like they only want the firstborn Marines to have the special issue ammo, because otherwise the Fortis kill team is like wildly powerful
Exactly.
if it also had it.
So, I mean, technically, as far as I know right now, with the rule of 3 being what it is, but these guys being troop choices. Deathwatch is the only Space Marine army that can run more than 9 bikes.
Oh, they can run a ton of bikes.
I think I can run 30.
Well, you could run as many as
Oh,
you
actually,
wanted.
how many?
These are troops.
Actually, yeah, the troops, so I could run. I
Yeah,
didn't even
there's
know
no
the math.
limitation on troops.
So I guess for all you White Scar players out there that got excited at the beginning and
Should have
bought
been Deathwatch.
and bought a ton of Outrider bikes, I will purchase them from you at a loss for yourself. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, because there's no you can only bring 3 you can only bring 3 of a data sheet essentially, but
Unless it's a troop,
unless
but
it's a troop,
bring as many as you
and
want.
a Fortis kill team is a troop choice, so you could bring. I mean, that's a lot of points. You're not going to be able to bring that many more than 3 if you're talking 5 bikes per unit.
Sure.
That's going to add up quite a bit. You could maybe bring 20 to 30 bikes in a game. Yeah.
If you wanted to, it'd be wild.
Oh, I actually have no idea what the points are. That might even be over 2,000 points.
This is the kind of stuff that always makes me nervous though, because they come up with this and it seems really cool.
100%.
Like that's
Yep.
like standard Deathwatch. Like it's going to be really cool for 3 months, and then they're going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, not anymore.
That's historic Deathwatch through and through, like without a doubt.
So like I'm trying
would-
not to be the big old salt factory that I normally am talking
Right.
about Deathwatch new stuff where it's like, don't get excited for this, they're going to take it away.
I mean, I'll be that person. I will say you better wait before you commit to buying 30 bikes.
At least, you know what? Like at least Stormbolters weren't expensive when people bought them. I hope that bit
Right.
wasn't expensive.
Right.
Next up, we got the Indomitor Kill Team, and this is your
This is the
heavy
Gravis.
intercessor
This
one.
is the Gravis one.
I'm just looking at these, yeah, because there's a typo.
Where? Which one are we talking
Well,
about?
this one says Indomitor Kill Team, and it says a Fortis Kill Team contains. That should have been Indomitor Kill Team.
Where's the 4? Oh, yeah, okay. There is a typo. Would you look at that? That's unfortunate. That's going to get eroded. That's fine. That's obvious what that's supposed to mean.
No, of course.
Yeah.
So again, 5 heavy intercessors, and then 5 of any aggressor, inceptor, eradicator.
Yes. Okay. Ooh, any 5 of a. The heavy intercessors could take that one cool weapon too if you really want. Heavy intercessors are real neat. I don't even think they're out yet as of recording this. You could have 5 aggressors, 5 inceptors, or 5 eradicators. The inceptors allow you to fall back and shoot. The aggressors don't do anything for you, right? Other than just be aggressors.
Yeah, they're just aggressors. They used to give you a nice bonus.
Yeah, and then eradicators are also really cool. This is an interesting kill team.
So looking at the war gear options, any heavy intercessor sergeant can have their heavy bolt rifle replaced with one of the following: one heavy auto bolt rifle, one heavy stalker bolt rifle. Now I think technically that's just additional because I don't know what their war gear options are like out of the Space Marine book.
I mean, they are troops. So they are listed right here. Heavy intercessors are scary. A lot of people want to get their hands on them when they can. Scouts, elites, oh, never forget. And heavy intercessor squad. So what do we got over here? So these guys, if no models in this unit,
What are they armed with as a base?
they have heavy bolt rifle.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay.
It's strength 5, AP 2 damage. Heavy 1. Wait, wrong one. Rapid fire 1, strength 5,
So
minus
either
1.
way, you can do your heavy bolt rifles or heavy stalker bolt rifles. I assume in that everybody could take those anyways.
Yeah, if you don't have the heavy bolter, they can all replace their heavy bolt rifles with Hellstorm bolt rifle or Executor bolt rifle. That's how this one works.
Okay. I don't see why you wouldn't necessarily be able to do it with. Because let's see war gear. All models in a kill team can be equipped with any of the war gear listed for that model under the war gear options on its original data sheet.
That is super weird that they can take heavy auto bolt rifle and heavy stalker bolt rifle. Like, what is that even?
Are they not options on that?
Oh, they are. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
You know what? We're going to just keep moving on.
Interesting. Yeah, because this one is for every 5 models in this unit. 1 intercessor heavy bolt rifle can be replaced with a heavy bolter, heavy auto bolt rifle, and replaced with 1 heavy. You know what? Yeah, I don't like heavy intercessors. We're gonna move on.
Like, I don't see why you couldn't take the
Right.
the 1 and 5 option. I think rules is written. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you could take a heavy bolter and have
This
your heavy
war
bolt
gear
rifle.
option section's confusing me. I'm not sure what's the purpose of it. Somebody much smarter than me is going to point it out like immediately. Aggressors can have their 2 auto Boltstorm gauntlets and 1 Fragstorm grenade launcher replaced with 2 Flamestorm gauntlets. Any Inceptor can have their 2 assault bolters replaced with 2 plasma exterminators. Any Eradicator can have their melter rifle replaced with 1 heavy melter rifle.
It's kind of weird that they have a war gear section for. Okay, yeah, because like even in the Fortis kill team, the intercessor any intercessor or intercessor sergeant can have. It's like the same thing, kind of.
Yeah, I'm not sure there.
It's like they list the war gear option area, but it says on the previous page they can just use their war gear options on their data sheet.
So it makes sense. Like normally, if the heavy intercessors, if only 1 out of every 5 could take a heavy auto bolt rifle, and this said no, any of them can, that would make more sense to me. But again, we might be missing something.
Right.
Well,
they all start with a heavy bolt rifle.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like if it's one where like they all start with a heavy bolt rifle, but like if that one said that only 1 could take a heavy stalker bolt rifle, like out of the Space Marine Codex.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what the point is there, but either way, continuing on, the abilities, only Eradicators can shoot twice when using the Total Obliteration ability. So you still get it. Like if you just got 1 Eradicator in the squad, he can still shoot twice.
He doesn't have to be. They don't have to be separate or anything like that.
They're just making it very clear it doesn't kind of pass over. Keywords, you get Infantry Corps Primaris, the Mark 10 Gravis, Kill Team, and Indomitor. And then if it only contains Inceptors, it's got Fly.
Right.
Cool.
Ooh, that's right. You'll have access to transhuman physiology for your Fortis and Indomitor Kill Team. Oh, and probably your Spectrus.
Spectrus as well.
Spectrus as well.
So last one's is the Spectrus, Infiltrator Sergeant, and 4 Infiltrators. I guess I'm glad it's not Reavers that you're stuck taking 5 of.
Yeah, the base is at least the Infiltrators, which are not bad.
And then you can take additional up to 5 Infiltrators and Cursors, Reavers, or Eliminators. So again, 5-man in Eliminator squads, I don't think you can normally do that, right?
That's true. They come in squads of 3. Yeah, you could have 5 Eliminators. You could combat squad that and have 5 Eliminators.
I have as many of these stupid dudes as I want if I do it this way.
Yep, it's kind of a weird way of going about it, but sure, why not?
So war gear options, Reaver can replace their combat blade with a bolt carbine. Any Eliminator can replace their bolt sniper rifle with a las fusel.
See, again, it's weird because they can already do that.
Can everybody take a las fusel, or is it one of the 3?
I'm pretty sure they can all. I'm almost certain they can all take a las fusel. Are they heavy? I can't remember what they are.
I have no idea, man. I don't know Space Marines. I don't know about these things.
Eliminator?
Yeah, Eliminators.
Well, at least it's alphabetical order here. Well, they're definitely not elite, so they're probably
heavy.
They are heavy. Okay, so they are page 174. There's a lot going on in the Space Marine book here, folks. All right, Eliminator Squad. They all come with bolt sniper rifles.
Which is the same here.
And they can have their bolt sniper rifles replaced with 1 las fusel. And then...
And they all could?
Yeah, they can all replace their bolt sniper rifle with a las fusel.
I don't get what the point of redoing that. Either way, they printed it that way. Do they all have to replace, or like any of them could replace?
All of the Eliminators in the unit can have their bolt snipers replaced with 1 las fusel.
So it's not any of, it's all of.
Okay, so they can do any, and then this one's
There's a weird mix you can.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So you can do a weird mix of
I understand now. So like the heavy intercessors, because I assume all the heavy intercessors have to take bolt. Like if they replace their heavy bolt rifle with a heavy auto bolt rifle, everybody has to.
Indeed.
And this, you can mix it up all weird. We got it.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed it took us so long to figure out because that's literally the Deathwatch thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like literally, like if you look at the Proteus kill team, it's just like, you don't all have to have bolt guns. You can have a guy with a bolt gun, a guy with like a power sword, and another power sword if you wanted to, maybe. Yeah, I don't know why that, I'm sorry guys, I don't know why that took us so long to figure out. You know,
that's embarrassing. But I don't play Space Marine, so I'm not taking the loss on that one. Abilities. For this, Omni Scramblers only apply when there's Infiltrator or Infiltrator Sergeants in the unit. Multi-Spectrum Array only applies to Incursors. Terror Troops only applies when there's Reavers. Cool.
Right.
Keywords, again, Infantry Corps, Phobos, Primaris, Kill Team, Spectrus. You gain the following keywords. If a Spectrus Kill Team contains an Infiltrator or Incursor, it has Smokescreen keyword. And if it contains any Reavers, it gets the Shock Grenade keyword. Yeah, that all kind of makes sense. So like, okay, this is where, and then you also have access to all of the heavy stuff in the Space Marine book as well. So like the kill teams are going to take up a majority of your points. They're probably a fair amount. Which they typically do. Now, is there anything in here you were like, oh, I wish, like, was there, what have you been missing in 8th edition from the Space Marine book that you wish you had? The lieutenants mostly, like just cheap HQs. But now it's like I can just do whatever I want. So now the wheels are kind of turning. And like not being able to take a lot of that Primaris Phobos stuff was kind of weird for a while.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you couldn't take any of that stuff too. Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of opens it up. Like I said, it brings them much more in line with standard Space Marines because you can take pretty much anything, and the only things you can't take, you have your own weird version of.
Yeah, literally the only things you can take, you have a weird version of it. You're right.
Okay, so looking at the few data sheets that are in here, we're gonna start with the Watchmaster, 7 power, cool. As far as his points, let's just take a little look. I thought I had the right page, and I didn't.
Well, yeah, for the Watchmaster, he's pretty much
He's 125 points. I think it's about what he was before. Anyways.
Right. I don't expect too many massive changes here. Like, do you remember what a veteran was off the top of your head?
No, because it's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, they went up a wound, so I'm curious.
Because I didn't memorize the point changes for them when they did the point changes in 9th.
Yeah.
But looking at the Watchmaster, 2-up save is standard, 6 wounds, 4 attacks. He's got his Vigil Spear. He doesn't have any options to take anything else that's different.
Right, and him being a Watchmaster, he's got the exact same rules as a Chapter Master, where he picks a unit in your command phase, a core unit or a character, they get to reroll all hit rolls, and then he himself has an aura of rerolling hit rolls of 1. So that's what's changed with him. So he's just in line with what a Chapter Master would do.
Yep, so pretty simple. The Vigil Spear is now, it used to be like a Custodian Spear, but now they call it a Vigil Spear with the same stats.
Sure, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, got a couple named characters. Watch Captain Artemis, Captain Cassius, Codicea, Notorian, he's also part of.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like none of this really changed.
These are all pretty much the same.
Pretty much like
How's that stasis grenade?
The stasis grenade.
That's wild. What a wild weapon that gets me every time I see it.
It used to be, so the stasis grenade, they changed it in the get by rules. Now, if you mess with it, you don't hit yourself with it.
Okay.
But again, there's no real changes to this stuff, guys. Like, you can go look at the get by rules, and the rules, as far as I can tell, are basically the exact same here.
Right, the same data sheets and all that stuff. Then you have your Deathwatch veterans, which are...
So just to kind of go through this kind of stuff. So again, the same kind of thing you were looking at the get by rules, but now certain things are more kind of clear on specialist ammunition and the rest of all that. So looking at this, you get your standard veteran stats. Obviously, we're up to 2 wounds. The Black Shield is a 0 to 1 option.
Oh, and if you're curious, it's 25 points a model for these guys.
And now with that, you do get a Deathwatch bolt gun and a power sword.
That's your, you come stock with a power sword.
Everybody comes stock with a power sword.
So you're paying for it.
So you might as well use it.
Literally every veteran, you're paying, so that's super weird. You are paying for a power sword on every veteran. You could change it to an Astartes chainsword. Why would you? Everyone has a power sword. Do you have that many veterans with power swords? I wonder if that's a typo. No, probably not.
I don't think that was intended. I don't know.
So yeah, every Deathwatch veteran, sergeant, and Black Shield is equipped with a bolt gun, Deathwatch bolt gun, so you get special issue ammo, and power sword.
And then frag and crack grenades, obviously.
And frag and crack grenades, yeah. Huh.
Okay. Kinda weird. So going through, we're going to touch on all the war gear at the end. That again, we'll talk about it a bit, but it's the same as the get by rules. So just looking at the war gear options, so any veteran, Watch Sergeant, or Black Shield can have their Deathwatch bolt gun and power sword replaced with one of the following: Deathwatch shotgun, Stalker pattern bolt gun, up to 2 items from the Deathwatch equipment list. Up to 4 can replace their bolt gun and power sword, because it's power swords in multiple places, so that's got to be intended.
I guess so.
With one of the following: Deathwatch Frag Cannon, Furnace Heavy Bolter, Heavy Flamer, Missile Launcher.
Right.
Okay, cool. For every 5 balls in the unit, 1 can have their bolt gun and power sword replaced with 1 Heavy Thunderhammer. Cool. If Watch Sergeant is not equipped with a Storm Shield, it can be equipped with a Combat Shield.
Which is a slightly worse but cheaper Storm Shield.
Yeah, it's a +1 to your armor save, but it's a 5-up instead of a 4-up involved.
Right, which is wild. Everything is so wild.
So yeah, that's kind of neat. I guess the Storm Shield's 5 points per, because I think that's more expensive than they used to be.
And Combat Shield's 4?
Why? Okay.
Oh, it was 2 points of Storm Shield before, or something like that dumb, right? It was like two for a Storm Bolt or 2 for a Storm Shield, or like...
I hope you didn't use plastic glue. I hope you used super glue when you put your guys together.
Yeah. I mean, it only gives them a 4-up invul now, too.
Yeah.
Oh, 2-up armor save, though.
Looking at Kill Team Cassius, this is where you've got... So the Watch Sergeant's equipped with a Deathwatch bolt gun, frag grenades, crack grenades. 1 veteran has a plasma pistol, power sword, frag grenades, crack grenades. 1 veteran is equipped with a Deathwatch bolt gun, Astartes chainsword, frag grenades, crack grenades. 1 veteran is equipped with Deathwatch combi melta, frag grenades, crack grenades. 1 veteran is equipped with Deathwatch frag cannon, frag grenades, crack grenades. The Terminator is equipped with Deathwatch heavy flamer. Now that's important because we're going to see if that pops up anywhere else. Melt-A-Gun, Power Fist, Deathwatch Teleport Homer. The veteran biker is equipped with Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun, Power Sword, Frag Grenades, Crack Grenades. Vanguard Vet, 2 Lightning Claws, Grenades. I don't know why I kept saying it every single time. You should have stopped me. I blame you. Vanguard Vet, Hand Flamer, Astartes Chainsword, Grenades.
Hand flamer?
Your army can only include 1 Kill Team Cassius.
Cool. So there's the veteran biker in Kill Team Cassius. This is equipped with your Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun right there, folks.
And I think that this is the only instance of Deathwatch Heavy Flamer as well.
I think so. Which has got 3 different ammo types.
And I believe this is also, they didn't give it a special name, but I think there was you could take the Power Fist with the Melt-A-Gun.
There was a Power Fist with a Melt-A-Gun? That's cool.
Well, that was that's what he's got, because the Terminator's got that. And I think that actually was a War Gear option. I don't know how many people actually modeled their Terminators with that kind of loadout, but I think that was a War Gear option in the previous Codex. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This unit auto passes morale tests. The Terminator has a 5-up invuln save. Again, Kill Team Cassius is weird. I don't love it. Whatever, it exists.
It's kind of, well, yeah, but you go to your Deathwatch Terminators and they can take some, like, I don't know if it was the same way before, but for your Deathwatch veterans, could you have a 5-man squad and then 4 of them take heavy weapons?
For the veterans?
Yeah. You just have like a 5-man squad before them have.
I believe you could, yeah.
But it was a little too, like,
that was kind of pricey. You want some.
Right, you don't have the ablative wounds to really.
Wounds.
Yeah, okay, I get it. Then your Deathwatch Terminators, every 3 can have heavy weapons. That's kind of cool.
Up to 3
yeah.
can have their
assault cannon, heavy flamer, plasma cannon, or storm bolter, and a cyclone missile launcher.
These are built as a 5-man squad.
Which is typically, for Terminators, you can only have 1 heavy weapon for 5.
Yeah, so I mean, cool. Any number can replace their Power Fist with Chain Fist, Power Axe, Power Maul, Power Sword. Again, cool.
Right. And you can make them assault Terminators if you want with Lightning Claws and Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields.
And then they can take a Deathwatch Teleport Homer, which we'll get to in a second because they did change that.
Oh, okay.
But what I don't see is them being able to take any Deathwatch Heavy Flamers.
No, that is definitely not a thing there. They can take a regular Heavy Flamer.
Right. And we're going to get to that, like I said, when we talk about the War Gear, because this is the confusing thing. People are going to assume that the Heavy Flamers you have access to are Deathwatch Heavy Flamers, and that the Twin Bolt Guns you have access to are Deathwatch Twin Bolt Guns.
You would think so, but
they're not. That's just weird Kill Team Cassius stuff. I think that was a big swing and a miss, but we'll get there. Veteran bike squads. So it starts off as a 3-man squad. You can add additional bikers, and then you can add the veteran attack bike. Cool. This one, the veteran biker sergeant, and every veteran biker is equipped with twin bolt gun, and then the attack bike is equipped with a bolt pistol and heavy bolter and twin bolt gun. The veteran biker sergeant can be equipped with one of the following: Deathwatch shotgun, stalker pattern bolt gun, up to 2 items from the Deathwatch equipment list, which we're going to get to.
Yep.
And then any veteran biker can be equipped with one of the following: 1 bolt pistol, 1 Astartes chainsword, 1 power axe, 1 power maul, 1 power sword. So these guys aren't stuck behind power swords.
Yeah, they don't even come with anything really.
And then veteran attack bike can take a multi-melt instead of a heavy bolter. Cool, like standard rules kind of here. It's just they're bikes with an extra attack.
Yeah, because veterans, that's pretty much. Yeah, but would you ever take them as a fast attack choice, or would you just take the one basic kill team and add bikes to it and make them troops?
Basic kill team and make them troops. Like
Okay.
I don't want more than a 5-man bike squad probably. If you did, you'd have to do it this way, but
right. The last weird thing you get is your Corvus Black Star.
So again, this is pretty standard stuff here from the PDF kind of rules that they put out. You're still 14 wounds. You're still strength 8, toughness 7.
Strength 8, What a wild strength to have.
I'm not sure why. Looking at the weapon options, obviously the Black Star rocket launcher, blast weapon, who cares, hurricane bolter, storm strikes. Like this is all pretty standard stuff. The Auspex array is each time the bearer makes a range attack, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. Cool. The old school one used to be reroll hit rolls of 1.
Yeah, so it ignores dense and light cover.
Yeah. The Infernum Halo launcher, each time a range attack made by an aircraft model is allocated to the bearer, add 1 to any armor saving throws.
Okay.
Cool. I think what it used to do was an additional -1 to hit them.
Right, which doesn't make sense.
If fly stuff is shooting at them. Doesn't make sense in this edition anymore. So standard loadouts, your twin assault cannon can be twin las cannon. Your Black Star rocket launchers can be replaced with Storm Strike missile launchers. You can take a Hurricane Bolter, and you can be equipped with an Infernum Halo launcher or Auspex array. Standard rules here: airborne, supersonic, hard to hit. Hoverjet explodes, and then Black Star cluster launcher still there. So the movement phase, after you make a normal move or after you've made a normal move or advance, you can select one enemy unit that this model moved across as part of the move. Roll 1d6 for each model in that unit up to 10. Every 6 is a mortal wound. That's the same.
It's a really bad bomb.
Transport capacity 12 infantry or bikers. Each jump pack or Terminator is 2 spaces. Each bike takes up 3. You still can't put Primaris in it, which is a little disappointing. Like I wasn't holding out hope that they would allow this, but I'm like, that would at least make a cool thing.
Yeah, no Primaris.
I don't know how you can find space for bikes in there, but you can't find space for a kind of tall guy. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, the point values, nothing looks like it's changed a whole lot.
I wonder why they don't want to put Primaris in it. That's fine, whatever.
I'm going to jump back a second because there's different squads that can take Deathwatch teleport homers, and that's basically like Terminator-type squads. So once per battle at the start of your movement phase, you can remove this unit from the battlefield, and then in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, you can set that unit back up on the battlefield anywhere wholly within your own deployment zone and more than 9 away from any enemy models, or anywhere within 3 of a friendly Deathwatch model and more than 9 away from any enemy models. If it ends and you're not on the battlefield, it's destroyed. If it's split into 2 units because the combat squad's ability, only one of those can have the teleport homer ability. And they say keep the teleport homer next to you. The way it used to work before the PDF rules is that you just got to take a teleport homer, put it in your deployment zone. I think it was in your deployment zone. And a squad with the Terminator could teleport to it.
Right, immediately.
Yep. Now, you don't got to put that marker down anywhere. You can just kind of have it on you. And you get to be taken off the board and put back on later.
Yeah.
And I think there was like a Relic or Warlord trait I was talking about earlier. The
first one, right?
Yeah, the Beacon Angelus.
Yes.
So that would allow you to pull somebody out of there and do that whole thing with. So that's changed. Again, kind of cool. I'm not super huge on it.
I'm just confused about the war gear options there.
Yeah, so looking at the equipment list, so the list for items for Deathwatch, and this is the list that you can select 2 items from. It's the Astartes Chainsword, a regular bolt pistol, Grav pistol, Inferno pistol, Hand Flamer, Lightning Claw, Plasma pistol, Power Axe, Power Fist, Power Maul, Power Sword, Storm Shield, maximum 1 per model, no double Storm Shield, Thunder Hammer, or a Xenophase Blade. Only Watch Sergeants or Veteran Bikers can take Xenophase Blades. So you can't give a captain a Xenophase Blade, which I found kind of weird.
Yeah. Why is there an asterisk beside them? I can't find the reference.
Because that's see Codex Space Marines for the rules.
Where is that?
That's just to the right.
Oh, there it is. I couldn't find that at all. There it is.
The other half of the list is you can only pick one of these items. So Deathwatch Bolt Gun, Deathwatch Combi Flamer, Deathwatch Combi Grav, Deathwatch Combi Melta, Deathwatch Combi Plasma,
right.
Flamer, Grav Gun, Melta Gun, Plasma Gun, Storm Bolter.
Right, these are ways, so if you want to bring like bike squads as fast attack, you could give the veteran a Deathwatch Combi weapon if you wanted him to have special issue ammo, and then he could fire his twin bolt gun at something else.
Sure.
But that, I mean, other than that though, it just really doesn't look like a majority, like only
this is pretty much the standard list before. It's just the change has been that they've put the Deathwatch, keyword into determining what gives you specialist ammunition.
And that is only veterans with bolt guns. It really seems like it's only veterans with bolt guns and like
That's
your
pretty much
Watchmaster. Yeah.
In the Watchmaster, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Deathwatch bolt pistols barely exist anywhere.
Like Deathwatch Captain's not going to get it. Deathwatch Lieutenant's not going to get it. Deathwatch Librarian, no HQs. No, literally no HQs get it, but
the only way to do it is with that relic.
The Watchmaster and the relic, that's right, yeah.
So, okay, cool. Looking at the different war gear stuff, and again, you guys probably have seen this if you're super into Deathwatch, but if you're kind of getting back into it and didn't really pay attention to the PDF rules, just to go through some of the changes here. We have got the Deathwatch Frag Cannon has changed drastically.
Oh, it's completely reworked, yeah.
Yeah. So before selecting targets, you pick one of the 2 profiles. The Frag is 12-inch range now instead of 8, but it's Assault 2d3.
Instead of 2d6.
Strength 6, AP -1, 1 damage, blast.
It is no long, and it does not automatically hit its opponent anymore. Nope, you got to roll 3 pluses to hit their friendos, and that is such a big hit for that. It used to be, if I recall, it was Assault 2d6.
Yep.
Strength 6. Was it -2?
No, it was still -1.
It was -1, 1 damage, automatically hit the target. Now it's Blast, so I mean, you will get 3 to 6 hits on bigger units.
For a very short time, it had Blast and Auto Hit. Before the PDF rules came out, but when 9th edition came out.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was 2d6 there. You get 12 automatic hits on an 11-man squad. But yeah, I assume you never even played one game with that.
I played one game.
Oh, who'd you play that against? Steve?
Matt.
Oh, it's Matt? Okay.
Yeah, that was the Matt Tyrannid game.
Wild. And then the shell, I think, is the exact same.
It is, but it's missing something. So it's 24-inch range, Assault 2, Strength 7, AP -2, 2 damage. They took away the whole if you were 12 or less away, that it went to Strength 9, AP -3.
Oh! So it is a fixed autocannon profile at 1 higher AP then, and half the range. And it's not heavy.
Right.
Okay. It's pretty much an autocannon, but it's not heavy.
I mean, obviously, like the...
The suspensor webs. Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to come back... Well, actually, let's talk about it now. The Deathwatch Heavy Flamer.
It's awesome.
It's cool. And at first, I'm like, this is what they're going to get for Heavy Flamers. But no, there's only one model that can use this.
Yeah, so this was kind of an upset when looking at the weapon profiles from the PDF. You see Deathwatch Heavy Flamer, you're like, that is such a cool heavy weapon. I would definitely love to take that in
Cool,
some
and
cases.
this gives some other options other than the frag cannon. Can replace a bit.
It's got 3 different types of fuel.
Yeah, 3 different profiles. They're all cool. Like, one of them is a wounding everything on 2s, unless it's a vehicle or Titanic. It's a heavy D6. Another one's a heavy 2d6 blast.
Yeah.
And then the Prometheum is a heavy d6, but it's a strength 5 AP -1.
So the Prometheum is your standard
Yeah.
heavy flamer profile.
And these are all auto hit.
Yep.
But again, the reason I'm not really going to focus on it or not get super excited about it is there's literally only one model in that weird Kill Team Cassius that has a Deathwatch Heavy Flamer.
If you bring a Kill Team Cassius Terminator, he gets a Deathwatch Heavy Flamer.
In my opinion, huge swing and a miss. Who cares? Like, it's one of those. Why bother with it?
Do you bring Kill Team Cassius to every game you play? Just to
I'm not going to because I can't be bothered. Whatever. Like, because again, this is Codex My Guys. I don't want to use this one named kill team. My opinion. Some people might disagree. I don't know. Looking at the Deathwatch shotgun though, that has changed up because this one was a joke before. You never took a Deathwatch shotgun.
260 points for Kill Team Cassius, by the way. Is that a lot or a lot? I don't even know.
I don't know. It's 10-man squad.
Does that seem like a regular amount of points for him? It's like 26 points a model-ish.
That seems maybe.
It says there's 9 models in it. Unit size 9 models.
Oh, maybe there's only 9.
I guess so.
Okay. But yeah, Deathwatch shotgun. This, as far as I can tell, yeah, Deathwatch shotgun. Oh no, where is it? Where is it?
It might be in.
Can only specific stuff take Deathwatch shotguns? No, veterans. Okay, Deathwatch shotgun. Yeah, it's not on the war gear list.
What?
It's not on the weapon list. But
it
it's
is right
under
here. It's
the
right
option of things you could take.
I found it
Same
here.
with the Stalker pattern bolt gun.
Deathwatch shotgun?
No, I know. It exists there, but I'm saying, like, who could take it?
Oh!
So I don't know why they didn't just put it on the list of weapons you could take.
Only Proteus veterans, like regular veterans, can take it, I think. Like, how many? 2 or 4? Up to 4, maybe? Probably 4. It's kind of cool.
No, like any number of them can take it. So if you go back to the Deathwatch veterans, any veteran sergeant, Watch sergeant, or Black Shield can have their Deathwatch bolt gun and power sword replaced with one of the following: Deathwatch shotgun, Stalker pattern bolt gun, or 2 items from the Deathwatch equipment list.
Oh, so that's okay. That's kind of what it was before. Like you could have all Stalker bolt rifles, all shotguns, if you wanted to, or you could have a mix.
Still can do that.
Yeah, you still can do that. Yeah.
I don't know why they're not on the equipment list. Again, might be missing something there. They got 3 fire profiles, which is cool. They got an 18-inch range, Assault 2, Strength 5.
It's called Crypt Clearer. That's a super cool name.
Right? Necron shooter.
Worms, I guess it would be
Worm's Breath is still only 8-inch range, Assault D6, Strength 4, auto hit.
It's automatically. Xeno Purge is 12-inch range, Assault 2. Strength 4, -1, 2 damage. That's actually really good. It's only 12-inch range though, but it's Assault 2, Strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Xeno Purge.
So that's one of those, like a squad full of those guys that are like, hey, one of these guys fight with the White Scars, and he says if we run really fast and shoot these, we don't have to take a -1 to hit.
I think they're only run in charge.
No, I think
they fall back in charge. They fall back in charge.
No, didn't the White Scars have one that if you fired assault weapons, and this is the chapter
no, you're right.
thing?
You're right. Yeah, that's right. They do advance and they ignore penalties for advancing and firing assault weapons, and they fall back in charge.
Yeah. And then looking at this Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun, again, almost not worth talking about because there's only one model that exists that can take it.
One man, one biker.
I feel like this was a swing and a miss, guys.
I mean, Xeno Purge is cool, but like it's called Xeno Purge, but when you think about it, it's only really good against Space Marines. Because what Xenos has 2 wounds you really want to light, like Lich Guard, maybe.
Yep.
Some
We're gonna
destroyers.
purge them.
But like, I can't think of any other Xenos that has 2 Tyranid stuff. Okay, maybe. Okay, I'm thinking too much of like troops only. There's some elites and stuff that have 2 wounds.
Sure.
There's some use for it.
But yeah, like I said, Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun.
Not really.
Guys, your bikes don't get them. Only that one bike from Kill Team Cassius, so be clear on that one. Hellfire Extremist is obviously the weapon from Artemis. The Infernus Heavy Bolter now still works the same.
Oh, it's got the 2 damage now for the heavy bolter part, and it is literally a heavy
12-inch
flamer.
range. Yeah, they've literally just updated that profile.
It's a combi heavy flamer.
Yeah.
Combi heavy bolter heavy. That's cool. I forgot about that. I like that weapon. I always did. Well, see now, because that's one of the heavy weapons you can take on the veteran kill team, right?
Sorry, which one?
The Infernus heavy bolter.
You can take the Infernus Heavy Bolter, yeah.
Or the frag cannon.
Yes. Kind of cool.
I wonder. So, okay, so they pretty much said we don't want the frag cannon being the auto-include weapon, right?
That does make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got really excited at first when I looked because I'm like, oh, the Deathwatch Heavy Flamer is like really cool. But again, swing and a miss. Looking at the rest of these, like I said, Stalker Pattern Bolt Guns have the special issue ammunition at least. They are heavy 1 though. Strength 4 -2, 2 damage.
That's pretty good, yeah.
It's not bad.
+1 wound is nice. On
I
that.
liked having the 2-shot version with only 1 damage, but this isn't that big of a difference. I'm okay with this.
It's pretty close, yeah.
And then looking at the rest of this, the melee weapons, heavy Thunderhammers, a strength ×2 -3, 4 damage. I think it used to be D6.
It used to be D6, but if you rolled a 6 to wound, it was
just auto 6 or something like that.
It was auto 6 on a 6 to unmodified 6 to wound. Now it's flat 4 damage. So it's 1 more damage, 1 more AP than a Thunderhammer. And that's pretty much it. Okay.
Yeah, and I think you essentially can't use it two-handed.
You can?
You cannot. Because you can, for every 5 models in the unit, 1 can replace their bolt gun and power sword with 1 heavy Thunderhammer.
So it is a 2-handed weapon then?
Yeah, it's 2-handed
okay.
weapon. So overall, yeah, I mean, we kind of went through some of the stuff at the end there, kind of quickish, talking about a lot of it, but let's give some thoughts on this, because I think there's more to talk about here than there was in the Space Wolf one.
Right. A lot of the stuff I covered, mostly because I covered a lot of the Space Wolf stuff, and this is almost a complete rework of Deathwatch in a way.
It feels pretty close to a complete rework, yeah.
Yeah, like the foundation of how you build the army is still very much there. But the way it will play is the same but different. You achieve the same goal through different means.
Right. So just to put it out there, everybody that has got their 10-man
veteran kill team
of Stormbolter and Stormshield, I'm sorry.
I mean, it still works. It just doesn't have special issue ammunition. That's it.
Well, and the Stormshields got more expensive.
Yes.
They do work slightly differently now, but I don't think anybody's going to be too upset about that. Like,
right.
I still
like
it's
not an illegal build on them.
You're still able to use those models.
Right.
But they ain't what they used to be.
No, not at all. I mean, like when you expected your Stormbolters you stand still, you have 40 shots with that squad, all wounding on 2s against non-vehicles at AP 1 because you didn't get the Doctrine. That's right, you couldn't do the Doctrine and special issue ammo. But now you can do both.
Now, I don't think there's anything that says that you can't bolter discipline when you fire your special issue ammunition, so at least there's that, but there's just a lot less stuff that can fire it.
Right, it's true. You have your bolt guns, but yeah, now you stand still, you get your special issue ammo on your Deathwatch bolt guns, and you get to rapid fire it if you stand still.
Yep.
That's nice. Then you get both of those. So it's a lot of give, a lot of take. A lot more focus on rerolling wound rolls as opposed to having the bonuses of those wound rolls with special issue ammo. I don't know. I know that you like to run 1 kill team with stalkers in the back.
Often I would run 1 kill team with stalkers in the back, but then I'd have another kill team of 5 stalkers and like 4 bikes and a Vanguard vet, and then they would split.
Okay.
So, I mean, like that kind of stuff still works. I don't think anybody right now probably has the perfect collection for Deathwatch. Maybe after the PDF rules came out online, people started buying stuff, but like, I don't think anybody came fresh into 9th edition with an army that would work for this book.
Right. Well, I think you're gonna want. It's gonna be weird. It might not feel that Deathwatchy, but you're gonna see a lot of the second kill team that can spam the Outrider bikes because they are very good if you can spam them.
Yep.
4 wounds each, toughness 5, objective secured. They get tons of attacks with the chainsword on the charge, and they have 2 twin bolt guns. Yeah, those are an excellent option, and they're fast too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one that worries me. A lot of people are going to go directly towards that, and then that at any point could just be like, you know what, we made a mistake there. But maybe they won't. Maybe this one time historically, they won't immediately hammer the Deathwatch with some random nerf.
I don't know. So that one, honestly, the one that gets me the most is honestly this Power Sword thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Power Sword thing. That is so weird. So you're paying, how many points was the veteran before? Like 21?
They weren't that much, man.
Well, 17?
I can't. It's been a while. I can't remember.
Oh.
I can't remember.
So you're paying for a Power Sword on every veteran.
Because the Power Sword's going for about 3 points, it looks like.
Right. So wait, you're already paying for it, and if you want to change up your war gear, because you have a bolt gun and a
Power Sword.
Power Sword as well, so you're almost space wolving it with like the true grit.
Which
thing.
is kind of how the kit comes.
Right. Do you get that many Power Swords in a kit?
I think you actually probably do, yeah.
So if you want to, like, there's no reason to buy chain swords at all because you have the power. Oh, unless you want the additional attack.
If you want the additional attack, sure.
But you're losing points on that. You're paying the points for the Power Sword. It's not like you get refunded points if you give up your Power Sword. You know what I'm saying? Or if you know what I'm trying to say there. It's kind of wild.
I'm trying to see here, because you can...
Oh, wait, no, sorry. You can save points by taking a chain sword instead. So they come with the Power Sword. It's not built into the cost. It is actually...
And there it is. Okay, that's what I was missing.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. That's over.
It all
Done.
makes sense. Right, yeah.
They're still kind of pricey for what they are, but that's okay.
Right,
At least
so
you don't have to have the Power Sword. Why would they do it like that? Why would they write it that way, I wonder?
When I say 25 points a model, I actually mean 20 because apparently the Black Shield's the 25 point a model guy.
Now, he, I believe, is...
Other models are only 20 points a model. So if you were afraid, I take back what I said. I hope you watched the whole video. 20 points a model for a veteran. But with their default loadout, what's a Deathwatch bolt gun go for? It's not even listed here, eh? Probably 0 points then for a Deathwatch bolt gun.
I mean, you'd have to assume...
Yeah, so 0 points for a Deathwatch bolt gun because it's not listed. So 23 points at a base cost.
I'm assuming that's baked into their cost, because if you go over to the Fast Attack Veteran Bike Squads that you can buy Deathwatch bolt guns for, apparently it's 5 points.
Wild.
That's 5 points for that. Ooh.
Wait, can Deathwatch veterans even take Astartes chain-swords? Of course they can. Oh, it's 0 points for Astartes chain-sword, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So only the points listed things here can matter. So it's baked into their costs. So they're 15 points a model plus the bolt gun, and then 3 points for a Power Sword. So they're 23 points a model at base cost.
But you don't have to take the Power Sword.
You do not have to take the Power Sword. You could go down to 20 points a model with a bolt gun and a chain sword, being a veteran.
Okay, so they suddenly feel better about that.
Right. That's kind of weird that they come with a Power Sword, though.
Again, I don't know what the motivation is. Like I said, I think it's because the kit comes with, like, almost everybody's got a Power Sword.
Geez, you're paying 25 points a model for Stalker Pattern bolt gun veterans.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's worth for a single shot at 2 damage.
That's
like, it does get the
expensive.
Specialist ammunition.
That's getting pretty close to a second edition Marine cost at 30 points a model.
That's up there.
You get 2 wounds, though.
Yeah, the extra wounds, like, I'm okay with this. I'm
paying
unfamiliar with the new point cost. So, like, what's a regular Space Marine worth?
18 points.
18 points. So, basically, for 2 extra points, I get an extra blip of leadership and an extra attack over a regular Space Marine, right?
Right.
And then Deathwatch bolt gun?
Which is and you get special issue ammo on them as well.
Well, yeah, that's
Which is
the only.
bolt gun,
That's sure. Tomato on that one.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
So for an extra 2 points a model, then I'm getting a extra attack and special issue ammunition and extra leadership.
And a chain sword if you really want to think about it. Think about it that way, because you're going to probably downgrade your Power Swords to chain swords.
Yeah. Okay.
At a base
cool.
level. It's actually pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That's like super good.
I don't think it's in a bad. Like, I don't think the Codex is in a bad spot. I think there's a lot of potential. I think more competitively minded players are going to see this and be able to come up with a lot more stuff going on.
Yeah, there's some weird efficiency pattern thing for Deathwatch that I don't even know. Like, you're paying 27 points a model for your Stormbolt or Thunder or Storm Shield build.
I don't think people are going to pay that anymore, man. I think people are just chopping those off.
It's gone.
Just en masse, yeah.
I honestly, they're at 20 points a model for a Deathwatch bolt gun and chainsword. I love it. That's super good for 20 points.
For 20 points a model, yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 wounds now, an extra leadership.
Yeah, so I guess
So you get one more attack and one more leadership. That's all you get. Oh, no, you get 2 more attacks if you count the chainsword in. So
yeah,
2 more attacks and a leadership for 2 more points.
and an AP
And
built
special
into your close combat.
and special issue ammo. Yeah. Because normal tacticals can't take chainswords unless you're a gray hunter. Then they can. Cool. It's kind of weird. It's a lot to dissect. There's a lot going on there. A lot of weapon options. How much is a Deathwatch shotgun now? 0 points. That's kind of cool. So you just swap out your 5-point bolt gun. So it's like a zero but 5-point bolt gun, if you know what. It's 5 points for a veteran bike squad. They used to do that before too. If you were to buy a plasma gun on an Astra Militarum veteran, it was like 5 more points than buying it for a regular.
If you have better ballistic skill
Yeah,
on certain ones, yeah.
So in this case, if you take it on your bike sergeant, you're paying 5 points for it, whereas it's typically just 0 points.
So yeah, the main thing for the Deathwatch shotgun and the Stalker pattern bolter, I guess that they don't want you to have a close combat weapon and that weapon. That's the reason that they're not on the list that I can see.
Oh, what for the? You can't have the Stalker pattern bolt gun and a chainsword.
No,
Ooh.
because the way you get a Stalker pattern bolt gun is any veteran sergeant, WAD sergeant, or black shield can replace their bolt gun and power sword with that.
Got you. Yep.
So I guess I don't know why they don't want you to have a shotgun and a close combat weapon. I guess it sounds too cool.
Yeah, because the veteran can replace their bolt gun and power sword with one of the following up to 2 items from the Deathwatch equipment list, page 60. And then you go to page 62, and then I take bolt gun and chainsword. Yeah, only 1 item can be taken from the list. Boom, Deathwatch bolt gun. Boom, Astartes chainsword.
It seems like there's some interesting options here, and obviously we're at the point like there's no more information we're going to give you. So if you were just here just to see the information,
Yeah,
you probably already stopped.
We're
But
at
if
the
you
weird
haven't-
rambling part.
Yeah, we're at the weird kind of brainstorm talk about.
Well, how many points
This is
are
the
your
proper.
Terminators?
Honestly, this is the first impression part. The beginning of it was just let's look through the book together.
Yeah, your Terminators are 33 points a model. Deathwatch teleport homers cost points if they didn't before.
You got them before just for having Terminator, yeah.
Yeah, you have to pay 5 points for them now.
But the way that they work, actually, I really like because you're able to teleport next to another unit.
You got Chain Fist for 5 points. I'd take a Chain Fist over a Power Fist any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 points a model though, so it adds up. It's weird, super weird.
It's all of these weird options you get. So, I mean, the takeaway is like it's weird that Deathwatch bolt pistols you can't have them all over the place anymore. Like you can't have.
You used to be able to have them all over the place.
You can't. Well, you used to be able to have a guy with a chainsword and bolt pistol.
Like
and then
a character.
No,
Like
just
a
a
veteran?
regular veteran.
Could you just have a bolt gun and a bolt pistol, or a bolt gun
Sure,
and a chainsword?
like any of these weird combinations, like whatever
Sure.
combinations you want.
Right.
But like, there used to be a list of things with special issue ammunition.
Yeah, it's pretty much every bolt gun except for like heavy bolter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why on the Deathwatch equipment list, like, why isn't it a Deathwatch bolt pistol instead of a bolt pistol that you can take? I don't get it.
Just don't shoot. It's one of those things where the special issue ammo is just some random little rule you get now, and you pass it along.
Yeah.
It's not the Deathwatch thing. As of right now, your thing is spamming Outrider bikes.
Spamming Outrider bikes and re-rolling wound rolls.
Yeah, that's it. I spam Primaris bikes and reroll wound rolls, folks. I am Deathwatch. I don't know. I mean, obviously, your veterans are still good with the special issue ammo. They have that all over the place if they want to.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the kill teams, like, it's...
And again, if you look at the Primaris kill teams, if they had special ammo, that's way too much on top of what they already do.
Okay, here's my argument, is that it's not too much if you just make it cost points.
Oh, sure, 100%, yeah.
And why they wouldn't do that, I'm not sure.
They could do that. They could do that 100%. If they, like a Deathwatch bolt rifle you could have had, right?
Sure.
And then
Deathwatch bolt rifle is this many points.
Right, like each Primaris Intercessor could have been like 5 more points than a regular Marine Intercessor.
It's cool to not be locked in, but if they wanted that, they could always make it so it was an option. You have a bolt rifle, but if you want, you can pay points to upgrade to a Deathwatch bolt rifle with a special issue ammunition. So, I mean, like, this is kind of like wish listy kind of stuff where I'm like, I don't know why.
I wonder if this could be a thing. If they thought about doing that, and then the place testers, the competitive players, were doing it, I'm like, yeah, we're not paying for that. There's no point in doing that.
I would be okay. So honestly, if that was their mindset, that they're like, if the playtesters, which I think are typically more tournamenty kind of minded,
Yeah.
were like, oh, this just isn't good enough, take
not-
it away.
right.
I'd be so disappointed.
Yeah, but it's like you could. It's one of those things like I have a
Codex, my guys. No, let me do it.
It's fair, but it's like, what if it's just incredibly inefficient and you're just actually hurting yourself by doing it? You might not know it, though. That's the thing. That could be the thing. People would do it because it's cool, not realizing, oh, it's actually bad. And then it would be more disappointing knowing you could do it and then that it's a bad option to do it. That hits me hard when it's a really cool, like for Necrons, I loved Resurrection Orbs back in the in 8th edition, but they were bad. You never took them because it was just inefficient. I tried it a few times and I would do it and it did nothing. And it would just feel bad. And then you have your 10 intercessors and you're paying an extra 50 points and it does nothing, right?
I'd still do it just for the fun of it.
You would, but I don't think you do it every game.
I might decide not to, but having the option is nice. And I realize why too many options. Again, I don't know the motivation. I'm not sure why they decided to do certain things certain ways.
Or maybe it was the flip side. It was too powerful from play. Even if they made it 10 points as an option.
I wonder if it was just really tough to write in a proper way.
Maybe.
But it's weird for me that my sergeants can take Xenophase blades, but my captains can't.
It is kind of weird that captains can't do that because it's not an option for the captain, because captain's not listed in here.
Right. It's weird that my captain can't have a Deathwatch bolt gun.
Yeah, because
it's
the exact same. So you're suffering from what you wanted. You're suffering from what you wanted to gain because you wanted everything the Space Marines have access to, but it's too hard to write the rules to do that. I was
fine not having as much access to the Space Marines.
Right.
But so I get it. It's just one of those,
This is one of those This is one of those books that probably still would have been better off as a separate release with all the data sheets that would have been relevant to it with the proper war gear. Because if they didn't do that, this book would be just as big as this book.
Totally.
To get what you want in it.
So I get it. I wonder what the cost difference is in the two books.
I haven't bothered
to look at that.
Oh, I don't
no, for like just purchasing.
No idea.
How much cheaper are the supplements than the actual full codexes? I don't know.
But with the inclusion of all those new cool stratagems, hopefully that alleviates some of the confusion and pain.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's pain. It's more just confusion. I wonder why. It seems like there would be a way to do that.
I just realized on the art here we have the cool veteran with the he's got his Deathwatch bolt gun, but it looks like he has like the 3 layers of scope, so he can do like the far away one, turn it to the side, and then turn it to the side again.
Yeah, but the way that's set up, you can't see through them, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like one's a giant laser pointer on the bottom, and then I don't know. Like I said, we've been in the ramble spot for a while. I'm excited to play them. There's certain things that are going to be tough for me to get used to. And just in the sense of like trying to remember it. Overall, I think the book is a win.
I think so, yeah.
It lost a little bit of its character to get there.
Is it because you loved that special issue ammo so much?
I loved that was one of the main army things. Yeah. And that was, it just...
Well, yeah, you went from having options in your army thing to being I reroll wing rolls. Like they did that before, but now they do that a lot.
Right. So I guess where I'd be at, and here's the funny thing that I think has happened a couple times, that less is more.
Right.
So if they just said twin bolt guns were there, cool. But the fact that they gave one random model in a unique kill team a Deathwatch twin bolt gun, I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just do that for all of them?
Right.
Why is it okay for just him and not everybody else? Same with the Deathwatch bolt pistols. If the simple thing was just like, hey, yeah, the ammunition doesn't run through bolt pistols or storm bolters or twin bolt guns very well, I would accept that and move on. I wouldn't question it at all.
Right. There's probably something. I think it obviously comes down to some balancing. They probably really wanted Deathwatch players to have bolter discipline and special issue ammunition in one package where you can do both. But like that's just too good with bolt rifles and special issue ammunition. That's just too good with that. Yeah. And then it's just like, oh, we don't want to take that away from them though. Maybe they think they're doing you like players of service. Like, okay, you get your special issue ammo on your Deathwatch bolt guns and a bolter discipline, and that's the only place we could balance it.
That's fine. I'd be fine with that. But I'm like, why do you give a couple random models Deathwatch bolt pistols
the Kill Team
and
Cassius,
one random model? If Kill Team Cassius just didn't exist,
you've been fine.
I wouldn't have even questioned these. But Kill Team Cassius exists. They have these cool war gear options that nobody else can take. And Josh goes, why?
I want that over here.
Why?
Because it's like a taste. It's like a tease. Right?
Yeah, I'm like,
look how cool that heavy flamer is, right?
Yeah. Like they could make it so wildly expensive I would never take it, but I'd still be happy it was included.
Right.
Having the option would be nice. But the fact that they're like, no, you got to take this weird, unique kill team.
I was going to say the option's there. You just got to take Kill Team Cassius every game. Like this weird named kill team. It's like bringing a named character to every game feels wrong. You know?
No, they're not showing. They're not everywhere in the galaxy.
I think it's
Only my shield captain from Custodes is everywhere. In the
that
galaxy.
guy there. we follow his saga.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think this book is a win. I think it's a pretty big win. The stratagems are really neat, and there's a lot of flexibility in the choosing your chapter for certain units and all that kind of stuff. It is. I agree. It's weird. The weird special issue ammunition thing.
That's the only thing I'm caught up on. Otherwise, I'm fine with everything. But again, I didn't spend a bunch of money to do Stormbolters everywhere.
They must have really not liked the interaction on the multiple shot weapons, because they even hinted at it. You could put it on any other weapon you want, but it becomes heavy 1, right?
Yeah.
That has to be it. They want it on single. Like even look at your Stalker bolt gun, 1 shot, but it gets special issue ammo. Now the Deathwatch bolt gun, 2 shots. I don't know. It's got to be something. It's hidden in there somewhere. The idea of it probably makes sense if one of them was to explain it to you. And then they probably figured, well, they can balance Kill Team Cassius, so they can have these weird things. Because there's just one model doing it, right? Who cares? What are you looking at? Who the writer is?
I'm looking at the credits. So the Mournival and Infinity Circuit for their additional playtesting. I'm not mad with you guys what you did. I'm just curious why.
Why?
I just wondered why. What am I missing? I'm assuming I'm not intelligent enough and I just missed something.
It's got to be in the balance there somewhere. They probably just a distaste of Stormbolters and 5 models with 20 shots, all special issue ammo. I don't know. It's got to be that.
I'm assuming that nobody from either of these groups is watching this review, especially this late into the review.
Yeah,
but like the little part of me wants to imagine that there's one guy from the Mournival who was like, that would have been cool to keep Deathwatch twin bolt guns on all the bikes. We should have just done that, Bob. Like I told you, that would have been cool.
It would have been cool. Like, again, you can always balance it with points. You were right.
Yep.
You are right. Anyways, folks, that's the end of the ramble, I suppose. That is Deathwatch Codex supplement from the Space Marines Codex as a foundation. If you haven't checked out the Space Wolf one, we already have. And again, we apologize not for not having a game ready today, but we will in the future. Josh is going to be playing some Deathwatch. I'll play Necrons. I'll play Space Wolves. Josh will play whatever Josh wants to play against Space Wolves. Hopefully Night Lord, so I can just walk all over him.
No, I don't know if I'm playing against the Space Wolves in the sense of I don't have a faction that feels right to play against them.
Night Lords.
No,
no one wants to. I don't want to. I'm not even playing Nurgle right now, and I love my Death Guard. I'm not playing them until they get an update. Ain't no way I'm going to justify playing 1 Wound Marines.
Well, like I'll play not against 2 Wounds. See, I will play my Night Lords against non-Space Marines,
like Necrons or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll lose bad, but it's okay.
I get it. Well, folks, we've taken up enough of your day. Thanks for tuning in. Leave any feedback down below what you think. What's your opinion on the special issue ammunition going away, or not going away, but
changing. It changes.
Yeah, getting trimmed a little bit. And your opinion on everything else. I think the stratagems are a big win. I like the Warlord traits. The relics are cool. The war gear is odd, but we got there. And yeah, Deathwatch Codex. I like it.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Happy wargaming. And stay tuned for battle reports coming out in the future. Toodles!